Welcome back to Rush of Madness, Session 5, the Foundry. Last session, the group traveled around what appears to have been a mushroom farm and found a cool door and opened it after some some conflicts with the local denizens inside of this cave, troglodytes primarily. Door was locked. They couldn't find the key, but using Dev's skill, they were able to unlock the door. They said they were going to descend it, or descend into it. Looking inside of the door, you should be able to see that there's a staircase. It goes down. The staircase is worked, very dwarvish, very well maintained, and appears to descend quite some distance down. You can, of course, not descend down if you'd like, and instead continue around these parts. Entirely up to you how you'd like to proceed.
Now that everybody's back together, Glint takes the opportunity to hand the two suits of armor he found. He hands those over to Balgar. The mithril, there's mithril chainmail, and then the other one that we didn't quite identify. Yeah, mithril scale mail. And the other one was, I think you said half plate?
Yep.
Okay. But the one was mithril. The other one, I think, had some magical properties we hadn't identified yet. It seemed a bit more exceptional.
Both of dwarven craftsmanship.
Right.
Hell yeah.
So
Are
we
these
can.
the heirlooms?
Some of them, I'm sure. There's definitely more.
Did your family keep a pet bear? Should we go back to get that?
I'm not following.
No, there was a bear behind a door up there.
I don't think that you want to bring that one along.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it didn't seem terribly friendly. Maybe it's like some dogs. They don't like strangers.
I mean, Jeff the donkey didn't like you very much, but it was still helpful afterwards.
That's true, and I didn't take that personally, but
My family hasn't lived in these halls for what, like 1,000 years? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a century since we've lived here. A lot of people have came and went, including your Denisotvan friends.
Well, they're not my friends.
Who's friends with them?
Maybe that bear?
I don't think so.
Sorry, I meant no offense. It just it rubs me the wrong way that they were trying to ransack the place.
It's understandable. They've destroyed quite enough.
I can tell.
So we're going through this door, or did we come through this door?
That's the door you just unlocked, so
Okay.
you can descend down the steps that are beyond it, or you can continue to search the area around you.
Since I wasn't here last week, we came from up this way? Or
Top
down
left of
this-
the map.
Okay.
The
Did
only-
we go down here?
So
Yeah,
there's
there's a cavern like passageway that leads outside that way.
Oh, right. Okay.
and there's still some waterways that we could follow, so there might be something at the end of that, but maybe not a ton. And then there's the door with the mysterious angry bear. But
There's
I
also
think
the
it prob-
broken wall with the where the troglodytes that attacked Astrogoth and Volgar came from.
presumably continuing along the waterway
Mm,
there.
Yeah, on the left side. Yep.
Got
I
it.
think-
Well, we unlocked this door, so why don't we go through it?
If it's locked, it must have something good on the other side. Or more fire trying to kill us. Either or.
Could be keeping something out or keeping something in.
Real quick before we proceed through the door, Glint is going to kind of scale the wall so he can kind of get up above and get sort of like an overview of the mushroom farm, and just do a quick lookout to see if he can spot any more trinkets amongst the debris.
Cool. No roll needed. Nothing.
Okay. He climbs back down and says, "Yeah, I think this area is all clear. We should keep moving forward."
All right. If you're descending, it'll be 2 by 2 down the passageway. Normal mentality had Orlandis and Losay side by side, with Glint scouting ahead, then the quote-unquote bards, and then the Castia and her defender behind. Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Moving you to a new map.
Yeah, so I'd like to be about 20 feet ahead of them.
Sure. It'll end up being the same because you probably won't advance too much further by yourself without having them tail behind you. The stairs descend and then stop at an opening into an octagonal chamber, about 30 feet across in all directions, including upwards. The floor is inlaid with cracked, dusty blue tiles, and the walls are dressed with polished marble. Large doors of iron-bound oak exit to the northwest and northeast. You can see that there are 3 cast bronze statues, almost 10 feet in height, one on the west, one on the east, and one on the north. Each represents a dwarvish warrior armed for battle. The one on the left looks like it's in a martial stance, with weapon off to the side for horse cleaving. The one directly in front of you looks like it's taking a martial stance, its mouth open in kind of a battle scream, and the one on the right seems to be doing a salutatory kind of victory stance. The ceiling is octagonal, so the entirety of the space you're in is kind of like a half three-dimensional octagon. Yeah, somewhere in the distance, as you kind of move into this space, you can hear the faint ringing of hammer on anvil. Where it comes from, you can't be sure. It seems the acoustics of this space make it seem like it comes from everywhere besides the way you came in.
Oh.
The 2 doors appear to show characteristic indicators of the blaze hatchet dwarf with weapons crossed in kind of a martial, prepared kind of combat stance.
And it had been determined before that that was a specific sign for like potentially like it being art, like
I will not
trapped or something.
confirm or deny any suspicions you have regarding anything in the dungeon.
I thought it was said last session and I wasn't actually here.
Sorry, can you describe the door again? I was looking at my...
Sure. The 2 doors appear to
Yeah.
have the same kind of metal facing, kind of in the center of it, with the dwarf axis crossed and kind of like a martial stance.
Those look like the doors that burnt. And she'll turn to Glint and be like, "Are you still singed? Are you okay? Like, you having..."
Well, I mean, I'm a little beaten up, but you know, I think I can keep going.
Okay, you probably shouldn't open these doors then.
Well, let me just have a look around before we jump to any conclusions. So before moving into the room, I'd like to check my immediate surroundings for any like traps or triggers.
Yeah, sure. If you're just doing a general look, you can go ahead and make an investigation check, but you're not specifying anything in specific, so go ahead and make that roll.
What I'm mostly concerned with is I want to know if it looks like the statues have any moving parts, or if it looks like the doors have similar trap mechanism. Are there any like scorch marks or anything around?
I got you. I understand. Yep.
I got
go ahead.
you.
Go
Okay.
make a roll.
Yeah. Investigation. That's an 11.
No, it doesn't appear to be any indicators of such.
There's not even any scorch marks on the clothes that you had that were in the fire.
Well, this leather's been treated very well.
Oh, okay.
So he's going to move into the room very quietly,
Okay.
kind of inspect the statues. He's going to look at the ground around the statues to see if there's any like scratch marks from where they've been moved or anything.
As I stated, there doesn't appear to be anything that is exceptionally notable based on
Okay.
your investigation check. So you are doing all of those things, but nothing is turning up.
Okay. Then he's going to move to this door
Okay.
and see if it's locked.
All right. You test it, and the second you do, the door immediately slams down towards you in a very loud and sudden, kind of forceful manner. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. So 22.
Okay. You manage to back away and move back. The second the door hits, you watch it slowly start to rise back up. Behind the door, all you see is a flat stone facade with two holes that seem to be the release for the chain mechanism that is connected to this effective drawbridge. And as the drawbridge lifts back up, it kind of clicks back into place.
The flat stone wall. We better make 20 perception checks again.
21.
Well, that seems like a dead end.
That doesn't seem like a very useful door.
Yeah, it's not. Let's try the other one. Then he goes and
I'm gonna stand back here when you do that.
Oh, I see. Unacceptable.
yeah, and he's actually going to
Unacceptable.
kind of, before trying the door, he's going to kind of step to the side.
Okay. Yeah, perfectly fine. The second that you kind of touch the mechanism for the door to see if it opens, you hear a very loud click. In response to that, what would you like to do?
Contemplate life choices.
How high is the wall?
Goes up 30 feet.
Yeah, I'd like to just race up the wall as far as I can.
Okay, great. So I'll need you to go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw. Due to the choice that you made on the click, you'll have disadvantage.
Oh.
Oof. That's a 7.
No.
Okay. So as you race up, you hear a kind of grounding sound. Everyone outside watches as the statue to the left very quickly lifts the axe and then drops it down towards where you were standing initially. And so as you're heading up, you're running right into the blade. As it hits you, you'll take a total of 18 points of slashing damage, and you are knocked prone on the ground in the space in front of the door. The axe then rises back up and clicks back into place.
God damn it, Roll20. Why are you being such a bitch right now? What?
I don't know about you lot, but I sure could use a good breather for a few minutes.
Yeah, we could sit here and rest while we think of a plan.
I mean, none of these doors seem to open, so this seems like a safe spot, other than, when you open the doors.
I was thinking the same thing. I can think about a better plan maybe going forward.
Do you know these guys? They're your uncles, your...
Is anything about this familiar to me at all? I would imagine probably not.
Not really, no. But the trap does seem to be kind of a typical Blaze Hatchet mentality. Never show your weakness. So apparently this would be kind of like the main guardians of probably the Foundry based on the sounds of the hammering you can hear nearby. However, why those hammerings are happening is unknown to you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like my next plan was I was going to be checking behind the statues for hidden doors.
Okay.
But if we want to take a short rest, that's fine too.
I think we should before you get hit by another one.
Yeah, Clint is not looking too hot right now, but that's fine. a short rest should be okay. God, roll 20. You are sucking right now.
How many hit die can we spend on a short rest?
You can spend as many as you want,
Okay.
but on your long rest, you should have only recovered a number equal to half your level rounded down. So if you had spent any before in a previous short rest yesterday, you may not have the same amount that you are thinking that you'd have. But I don't think you spent that many hit dice. I'm not going to go back and check it.
You spent 40 million.
Okay, so I regain my second wind. I don't get my bites. Roll 20. Why?
Everybody gets an extra d6 if you spend a hit die.
Now, is that only once, or does that apply to every hit die we spend?
Just once.
And let me look at my skill trick. Yeah, you also get a bonus 2 hit points from my medicine skill trick.
What's that?
You just get 2 extra hit points back from the short rest.
For every hit dice we spend, or just 2?
No, I think it's just 2 period from the way
Okay,
John has
fine.
been. It's
So-
still something.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend the first one. Gross.
Classic Chad.
Yeah, I'm sucking real bad right now. Like, real bad.
John, I'm still getting some bad feedback from you.
Okay, hold on. I have a new mic coming in the mail. This one is a piece of crap right now.
I think that's better now.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just like a wind / quiet static noise, so
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
It's pretending to be my sewing machine that broke.
that's where its spirit went to. John's headset.
Oh, can I have that back?
Gonna have to perform an exorcism with a soul trap, that's all.
More than fair, yeah. Exorcism's away. Okay, so yeah, you take a short rest, recovering any short rest abilities and spending hit dice accordingly. During the hour span, I'm assuming you're not doing anything active like searching. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Doing a little bit of thinking, but no searching.
All right. Well, feel free to discuss anything that you want to talk about before you kind of get into the next portion, the next segment.
I was thinking next, like once we boot back up, we can check out the statues.
Yeah, it was a offensive stance, a defensive stance, and a victory stance. Is that right, or am I confused?
Offensive, victory. In that order from left to right.
So it's more
Yeah, I
like
believe-
ready to fight, actively fighting,
Okay.
victory.
Yeah.
When we get done with the short rest, Castia's gonna approach the center one that looked like it was screaming and
Yeah.
just make a scream at it.
Okay.
Oh, I thought that might.
What the
I mean, I thought if I communicated with it the way it was communicated.
Oh, damn.
I don't understand
Well,
your family.
It's a good a
mean, you
guess
might-
as any.
Maybe you need to hit it with an axe. I wouldn't recommend it though. At the end of the short rest, Glint is going to start checking the walls behind the statues, starting with this one.
I want to help him if that's possible.
Sure. So I'm going to do a quick note here. I just want to make sure you're aware. I did see people moving beyond the boundaries, and I did change that and reset the Explorer mode. I do particularly hate people who do that kind of metagame thing. So I just want to make sure you understand. I'm not singling anyone out. I know who it was, but I am going to make sure that you understand pointedly that that kind of metagame thinking, to me, is contrary to the spirit of the game. And I just want to make sure you know I'm annoyed by what you've done. That said, due to the rules of the game, I have to honor your skill trick. So please go ahead and make a investigation roll. Yeah, it doesn't appear to be anything behind that specific statue as you kind of look around.
He kind of pulls out a dagger and is just like kind of tapping at the wall while
Okay.
he's investigating. And then he, instead of moving along the wall, he's going to come back out and around and then inspect the wall behind the statue.
Okay.
Sorry, roll 20 is being real. It is so difficult right now.
No problem. So yeah, tapping the wall with a dagger, as you mentioned, is the search method that you're employing. Going behind the statues, you do hear that the stone sounds very solid everywhere where you're tapping. Balgar, without rolling, would know why. The stone structure of all rooms inside a blaze hatchet like building, or rather redoubt, it's not just stone. They don't just shape the stone out of the actual cavern. Instead, what they do is they cut it back about 5 feet from where they intend the location to be, fill it with iron, and then put stone on the exterior of that. So there's actually a facade that you're looking at, which would be stone. They do not build things that are easily transgressible by their native enemies, which in dwarven parlance would mean like very evil creatures of the Feywild are one of their primary enemies, as the shadow Fae does exist in darker spaces. Also, the Abyss and also the 13 Gates can kind of pull up from these spaces. So it's easier to contain these things with cold iron or iron kind of containments. But that would be something you would note as he's tapping around and not really seeming to kind of get anything out of it.
Okay. Same process behind the third statue, and then I'm out of ideas.
Okay.
And I'm gonna let other people figure this out.
Losi, as you approach the third statue, as per right, you are entitled to a investigation check.
Okay.
Something's just off, and it's just about this statue. You definitely have noticed that there's definitely a difference in the three statues. You come over to it and look, and on the very back end of the statue, on its dais, on the second step, the step that it is standing on, the pintle that it's standing on, there seems to be a very small block that is kind of out, maybe half an inch or less than, a little less than half an inch, and it's about palm's width at that low level. Like it's kickable or push-inable with your hand. And as you kind of make note of it, Glint, as you kind of make your way back around, you will note that the other two plinths have it as well.
So each one has
a push-inable kind of button.
Okay. Glint's gonna check his for traps.
Okay, so checking into it, you would know that the statue you are standing at, no roll needed, is trapped. Whether it has a capability of attacking behind it and not just at the door is unknown. But you do know that the statue you are standing at is capable of maneuvering its arms at least in a 180-degree vector to attack straight down to its left.
Okay.
I want to get behind this one and then press the thing.
Okay. As you do so, the wall behind you, which seems to have been perfectly flush and did not have any audio cues detecting that it was hollow, drops out. as it falls away, you notice it is a good 2 feet thick with a probably about 4 to 5 inch core of iron in its center. And as it descends down, it kind of falls into place, settling into the ground neatly and again flushly. It gives view to a staircase. The staircase descends down to an iron door that is set inside of what appears to be a dwarf's face. The roof in this stairway remains consistent throughout, does not descend with the step. So it's 8 feet above you when you are first stepping into the stair. At the bottom of the stair, it would be about 20 feet above you, as the descent is quite far.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And sorry, the iron door that's set inside of the dwarf's mouth, no markings on it whatsoever. Just a solid iron door.
Okay.
And the louds, or the ringing sound that I mentioned prior, you definitely have an idea that it's coming from this space.
Okay. So it's gotten louder then.
Mm-hmm.
Think I might have found it?
And you didn't have to scream at anything?
No. Did it make you feel better though?
I mean, I'm fine.
That's good.
Certainly better than some of the rest of us.
Fair.
Ha ha.
I didn't get caught on fire
Or swung at.
or have a worm drop on my head.
Can I take... Is there just like the door?
Yeah, it looks like an old style door handle, for sure.
Money just crashed on me. Hold on.
As it's wont to do.
Yeah, it's being like real.
They might be doing updates on the website. Alright, I'm back.
Okay.
So the door is inside the dwarf's mouth is just like a iron door.
The portal way looks like a dwarf face, right?
Yeah.
And then the mouth is kind of
Yeah.
And then there's just an iron sheet inside. It's about.
So there's like no handle.
Oh, there's a handle. Sorry, the door is basically just a big iron slab. Sorry.
Okay, with a handle.
With a handle.
Can I pull the handle?
Do you wish to do so with any precautionary measures or anything at all? I'm not going to let you go back on the opening, but I'm asking if you're doing it like quickly, or you kind of like pushing it open suddenly, or like that is really the only kind of.
Mostly just like more of like a check.
Okay.
Like a door check.
Okay. So yeah, when you kind of test the handle, it does seem to actually move, and there's this kind of moment where you're like, it's not too dissimilar from the wooden doors as you saw displayed in their attempts to be opened by Glint, but nothing happens, nothing crazy. You don't get killed, or the door doesn't drop on you or anything.
Well, I'm glad at least one of us was able to find a safe passage.
I think that's the first one, right?
So certainly a welcome relief. Nice change of pace.
Well, I haven't exactly opened it yet.
Okay, well, let's not jinx ourselves.
Yeah. Alright, I'll fully open the door.
Alright, so I already mentioned the caveat regarding you mentioning any precautions, and you mentioned none. So you open the door, it kind of creaks very loudly. As it does so, you do hear some conversations in the very first opening window of the door opening, and it sounds like words being spoken in Dwarvish, but as the door opens, those voices go silent, and then you hear what sounds like movement. All right.
Hello?
Are there any lights in the chamber?
If you can view, it does.
From where we can see.
It does seem that there is a kind of gleam to the space. a glow. So you do see some shadows of dwarf-like figures moving behind pillars.
Mm.
I mean, I can see all the way in there, but nobody
Yeah.
else
Yeah, I
probably
also
can.
have dark vision, but I was just specifically asking if it looked like it was lit.
It is. So this space has kind of a glow to it. And from what you recall of Blaze Hatchet lore is the stones inside of Blaze Hatchet spaces typically have a method of kind of illuminating when they are touched by light. And from what you can see, there's a fire pit in the center of the room that's surrounded by a number of kind of just happenstance kind of makeshift bedrolls. That being said, the movements kind of rush to the sides, and it does seem that there are people inside who are cautiously awaiting your entry.
I mean, I don't blame them.
You hear a voice in Dwarvish say, very, very loudly and echoey throughout the space, again in Dwarvish, so if you don't speak it, you don't understand this individual. Go back the way you came. This is the only warning you'll get.
You're gonna have to translate for me, hon.
Yeah, I would relate as quietly as I can to everyone around me that they don't seem very friendly. Before I would reply back in Dwarvish. This is Balgar Blaze Hatchet from Stormloft. I'm here to collect family relics.
Okay.
While that's happening, John, I'll, as an action, use Eyes of Night on the people without dark vision again. So, Sarth, Orlandus,
Okay.
I guess, also get, they'll say, in Balgar.
Then when Balgar translates and says that they don't sound too friendly, Glint would go ahead and kind of draw his weapons. So he's got his short sword and his dagger ready.
Okay. So with what you stated, Joe, I'm going to have you go ahead and make a persuasion roll. I will note that due to the words that you said from your own mouth, you'll be making this check with disadvantage.
Okay. I got 14.
All right. Blaze Hatchet, you say?
Hi.
How many do you have in your number?
From the family, I'm alone. I'm here with adventurers. People I've hired to protect me.
Don't be coy. How many?
6 in total.
Well,
Is that right?
7.
7. Okay, I'm sorry. I say 7.
6 plus you, but
By decree,
We
by decree and order of the rights of Ukamar, House Nymar rules these forges now, Blaze Hatchet. And you would know that the power that this person just stated, Ukamar, is the dwarvish aspect of greed, the wife of Beldendar, the all-father of dwarven kind. More often than not, the people who worship Ukamar are either Dwergar, or they can be covetous, kind of just summit dwarfs, or kind of individuals who are very focused on the greed aspect of kind of dwarven tradition. Hoarding is very much the mentality. They're very much keenly attuned to kind of draconic things due to Ukamar's nature.
And what house did he say?
Nymar, Nimar. The other thing you would note is it's not a surface dwarf name, because surface dwarf names typically come in the word surname clan, like Blaze Hatchet or Gray Sword or Orc Basher. You know, these kind of like very simple to remember, cool last names, whereas the Dwergar kind of more lean towards the underspeech and kind of drow and not drow, sorry, the sort of Neblin kind of culture inside of the underground.
I would reply back, there's no need for bloodshed between us, cousin. We've already bested the pink-skinned squatters up above. We just wish to delve further. We have no interest in your wares or goods, just anything that might be left in the tomb.
As
Or
stated
not the tomb, but
before,
this
the
place that
Foundry.
we're in.
As stated, by right, House Nymar rules here. Everything that is placed here was earned by us in conquest. You have no titles to it any longer. Yours have long since fallen. I believe most of them are buried outside. But you say that you've killed the Long Arms?
I drove them away, just the 7 of us.
I will consult with my princess to see if she is interested in humoring you in discourse. You may enter the halls, but be warned. We are prepared.
Was that exchange in Dwarvish?
Yep.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
relay to everyone. They're gonna let us in. They're gonna consult with their leader to see if we can go further in. But they don't seem too happy about us being here or wanting to take anything from what's further down in there.
So,
Well,
are these like your cousins or?
Yes.
Oh my god, Roll20 is being absolutely annoying.
Yeah.
Aren't
um,
families supposed to get along?
They're like distant cousins. They're,
I don't
you know,
They're the kind that you don't really talk to very often.
it's more like the Hatfields and McCoys.
I don't understand that reference.
Oh, that's a
they,
human.
the Dwargar usually keep where that's the name to call them, right? Dwargar.
Yeah, correct. Just like,
Yeah.
yeah, correct. Dwergar is accurate.
They usually keep to themselves. They don't see much of the surface world. Some of them go their whole lifetimes without stepping from the Underdark.
Oh, so they're like the vampires you guys were telling me about earlier.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's pick this conversation up later. We'll, when we have more time to go over all the fine details.
Oh, okay.
It's Belgar, do you would you like me to put my weapons away?
Aye, let's go in unarmed, but remain cautious and ready.
All right, I'll be on my best behavior until you tell me otherwise.
The hammering stops. It does appear to be coming from the south of you as you kind of enter into the space. But yeah, you then hear kind of doors kind of open and slam shut as more Dwergar kind of fill into the space.
Oh fuck. Well, you better go.
If we were to be addressed by a princess, is there some sort of formal? Should we kneel or bow or anything like that?
So it really just depends. Since you're the dwarf, you're kind of taking the lead on the etiquette. I'm not going to hold you accountable for any kind of breaches of etiquette. There aren't going to be any kind of nuances therein, but anything that you role play, I will kind of play to. There's no penalty for that kind of stuff. The only penalties that will arise is if you say something that will get you in trouble. Someone just discode.
I think Jonah's trying to figure out his mic.
Man, I had to read Jonah's sentence like 3 times.
He speaks the language of the youths.
Because he is the youths.
I would let everybody know that they are going to get their princess, and if she does
Okay.
grace us with
Yeah,
presence,
you're
I can
okay.
hear you.
Okay. Sorry.
If she does grace
Princess,
us with
eh?
her presence, then we should bow until spoken to. No eye contact, just bow. And then once she begins speaking, you're good to like unbow.
As
Well-
you're saying that, Castia is just staring at the ones that are in the distance, like just full-on uncomfortable eye contact, like studying them, trying to figure out who they are, what they are.
And
Well,
can I use the history skill trick?
For what?
Can I use the history skill trick, historical knowledge, to be specific? Jesus.
1 second. History. So-
Glint looks at Balgar.
This information
says-
can be found in the handout section. I don't think I've gotten to them. They would not detail anything regarding Dwergar specifically for historical knowledge. That skill trick is more for kind of Denisotvan and core specific things that are about the world and around you. But for
Okay.
obscure details on these matters, I will require you to make an intelligence history check to recall information. What are you trying to glean, or are you just fishing for some information that's not currently privy to you?
I just want to know whether or not the Mar are like known for tricking their opponents into like traps.
You mean the Nymar?
Nymar, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, they're not a name that rings any bells. Honestly, this is all of them. So
Oh,
it's not a great.
Okay,
It's
never
not.
mind.
It's not a great clan or anything. It's not like a known element.
got you. Okay.
There's literally ones and ones of them.
Yeah, there's maybe a dozen of them. But the only reason that Balgar was able to kind of get any detailed information, and I guess it would probably be a piece of information that you would also be able to gather, but is now very prevalent as they're kind of coming out into the light, is that it was definitely a Dwergar family, not a surface dwarf family. Anyway, as you look at these individuals, you do see that they have the white beards and kind of gray skin of the deep dwarves. You'd also notice that a couple of them, primarily the ones that are slightly different, do seem to have small red quills inside of their beard. Balgar would know that these are, and anybody who has any kind of just arcane knowledge besides, would know that these quills are kind of a leftover trait that they have kind of gathered in darkness, an almost kind of infernal-like trait, similar to a tiefling's horns. However, the quills in their beard, to some, can be launched from their face by kind of exerting stress and forcing them out, and they are known to have kind of a poison that affects most who would have been in sunlight recently. That said,
Something like that.
It's been at least a day.
the door opens in behind a throne that you can see in this throne room, and out comes a female Dwergar. She appears to have an iron crown on her head with her hair kind of behind it, kind of a warrior's braid, and warrior braids on her sides. As she kind of comes into the space, you can see she's kind of just dragging along this massive butcher's blade, and she sits down in the throne and then lets the sword, or rather just big piece of sharp metal, kind of just sit on her armrests, and then she settles her arms onto it, kind of looking at you as a collective.
Okay, well, there was something I was trying to do before she entered the room.
What was it?
Well, when Belgar mentions princess, Glint would have gone rooting around in his bag and said, well, if you're feeling daring, and he would have produced one of the bottles of wine he had recovered from the Denisotvan stuff, and handed it to him.
Okay. That's
He
fine.
said, perhaps love might win the day.
Hi, an offering is a good idea.
So everything besides, she sits, she places her arms on her blade, looking at you as a collective. There's an older dwarf next to her with a shield on his back and a series of hammers on his belts. He appears to be kind of holding a very large hammer, with the head just kind of on the ground and his hand kind of on the pommel of it, like a cane. She looks over to him and says something in deep speech. If you're able to speak deep speech, you would understand what she's saying.
Negative.
Negative.
He
Nah.
nods in accordance. You hear some mutterings from everybody around as he says something back to her, at first in that language, and then shifting his tone and kind of direction to everyone else, speaking in Undercommon.
Nope.
Nope.
She then looks out towards you and in Dwarvish, shifting through the languages here. She says, it seems like she was talking to her associate here, and then he was relaying a message to them. And then she says in Dwarvish to you as a collective, it was told to me that a blaze hatchet is amongst your number.
I would, being spoken to, I would rise from bowing and say, "Aye, that's me, Balgar Blaze Hatchet, son of Darngar, Duke of Stormloft."
A duke, she says in Dwarvish.
Aye.
So, do you wish to come here with your band of mercenaries and usurp House Nymar's claim on this foundry?
No, not at all, ma'am. And truth be told, it warms my heart to see true craftsmen working these forges again. The pink-skinned squatters that were up above, these lot have, well, they're a part of something that's trying to root them out of this area for good. And I promised them that there were armor and weapons down in these halls from our ancient family. And that's what we're here for. I didn't expect to run into them, didn't expect to run into you.
You say pink skins, but you are not too dissimilar from those that were above. Do you mean the ones with long arms?
Aye, the Denisotvans is what they call them in their tongue.
Yes. And for those who are listening in the Dwarvish, there is no carryover word for Denisotvan from Common to Dwarvish. So it's dwarf, 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 Denisotvan from Balgar, dwarf, dwarf, dwarf. And then
I know that word.
the princess, you hear the word come out of her mouth, and it's spat, and she just says it, Denisotvan. And then she kind of looks back to you.
Orlandus can understand everything in Dwarvish.
Oh, perfect. But yeah, she says, I have a problem besides them, one that I wish to root out, problem I need to have dealt with. You say you have killed those above. That is something that is commendable, a task that we wish to have done, and you have done for us. I can grant you some understanding of what we know to have happened to you and yours. They were all killed. And those who took over the space before us were all killed. And the one who killed them still remains here, deep in the depths of this space. When we rose up from our position in the foul deep, we found it. We were 10 score before we came into this place. Only 2 score of us remained after our conflict with the one that resides in darkness. If you wish for me to give you the treasures that you seek, I would be glad to do so. However, at current, they rest in the hoard of a mighty black dragon, and from what I know of the blaze hatchets, you have a reputation for killing such beasts.
Aye, so the stories go.
So, I and mine will not rise against you. You will not interfere with any of the what many on the surface would consider sacrilegious elements that we are engaging in our own form of ancestor worship here. We will allow you access to the Black Mirror.
How big of a dragon would you say it was that you saw?
He was able
Would you
to completely devour a Dwergar at height, and you would know Dwergar at height relates to a magical capability that's inherent in Dwergar. They can turn into a giant size as their blood is kind of more in tune with the giant aspects of Aguacy, the giant power in the Dwerison.
That's a big
Would
dragon.
one describe it as a bitch dragon or no?
Out of nowhere, a big black dragon claw just smashes Castia and kills her.
All right. Apologies, my traveling companions here don't speak the tongue. I'm just going to relay to them what's going on.
Understand that I will know what is said amongst your number. My advisor can speak the common tongue of the surface. And you would know that Dwergar are not duplicitous or not treacherous. They're not going to try and hide anything from you. They're very much a lawful entity, but they are very much self-serving in that lawfulness.
Yeah.
That's fine.
In common, I would let everybody else know that because we dealt with the Denisovans above, which was a problem for them, they have agreed to allow us to travel further within with the stipulation that we kill a black dragon that is currently guarding the hoard that contains the treasures I promised.
Glint smiles at Balgar and he says, "You are proving to be quite the diplomat."
Never fought a dragon before. Sounds like fun.
A quick note, you'll note that they are conversing amongst themselves as well in Undercommon. And it seems that this guy here, who was the one who talked to you at first, the guy who, when you opened the door, was the one who confronted you, he appears to be kind of moving over to the dais, and he kind of kneels at the foot of the dais, seems to be kind of pleading something to the princess. And a quick note too, I just want to make sure we understand terms as well. This would be something that Balgar, Orlandis, Glint, Lose, Astrogoth, everybody besides Castia would understand. Prince doesn't mean like in waiting for like a position like you think of when you think of like the kind of romanticized English lore. A prince is a ruler of a principality. It's not a second in line for king. It's not
Right.
lesser.
Or like a duke.
Yeah. A duke is the leader of a duchy. A prince is a leader of a principality. A king is a leader of a kingdom. An earl is an earldom, etc., etc. These names have right, and in dwarvish culture as well as in gnome culture, prince is as high as it gets.
So we're fighting a dragon.
Aye, would be the gist of it.
Is that hard?
I don't know. I've never fought one before.
Perhaps not right away. Might be
is,
till
Fighting
tomorrow.
the dragon.
it is incredibly difficult, especially in its own lair.
Black
This is
dragons,
not something easy.
aye, and black dragons are known to be particularly vicious.
Well, what other choice do we have?
I do not see a feasible way we can kill a dragon in its own lair. But maybe they know something about the layout, or maybe they know how to entice it out.
Information is very valuable.
So do we want to fight it outside of these halls, or?
We just need it outside of its terrain, so to speak. We also do not want to fight it in an open field. Depending on its lair, this may be underground. Underground may be the best way to kill it.
Well, if it's already underground, though.
Again, it would depend on its lair. If it is open and spacious,
Yes, I'm quite curious how it comes and goes from this area. I don't imagine something as large as a dragon would really choose to spend its entire life underground.
Suppose you could ask it.
I believe that one over there, head nod towards the prince that's kneeling. I believe he speaks the common tongue. I'll see if he can answer any of your questions. But
the princess kind of says something kind of loudly in deep speech, which again, quick note between undercommon and deep speech. Undercommon is kind of built on deep speech rules, which if you don't understand the difference between the two languages, you really don't know that two languages are being spoken. The best real world analogy I can kind of give you would be like the similarities between like Latin and Spanish, like that kind of like carryover.
yeah.
Or more kind of Italian, I guess. Latin and Italian would be more closely related. But the point is it seems that she is saying something in kind of earnest to the guy, the door guard, the one who the the one who talked to you initially, and he kind of triumphantly stands up from kneeling and kind of turns and faces your group. She then says in Dwarvish to Balgar, "If it is your intent to seek out the Black Dragon and destroy it, my associate Garrett will accompany you. And when he goes with you, if he helps you in your endeavor, will be entitled a cut of the spoils. Additionally, as I am allowing you to pass through our halls without being harmed, anything that you recover that belongs to the Nymar family will be returned to these halls. Is this a fair agreement?"
I am out of character, assuming. Well, I guess in character, but in my head, assuming that when she recovered means the people that died.
Yeah, they're shit. The dragon probably took their magic items and shoved it on the pile, for real. She is not interested in anything that's down there that is Blaze Hatchet.
Yeah. Sounds good. Aye. And we would be more than happy to have Garrod. Did I do that right? Is Garrod?
Garrod,
Didn't
yep.
actually write that down. Accompany us. The Nymar clan lends its strength to felling this black dragon. It'll make quite a tale.
He nods and will kind of move beyond and kind of move towards your group. And then she gestures to the older, kind of smithing looking guy, and he says, "I can speak your tongue. What, if anything, do you have to ask me before I lead you through this space?"
Oh.
You're muted.
I have a question.
Okay.
The black dragon.
Hmm.
How does it travel?
We have not seen it for some years, nearly 30. We have remained here for some time. The efforts to reconnect with our peoples in the Foul Deep have proven fruitless, so we have lived here as we have been able to be sufficient with our agreement with the troglodytes in the Gars Mlorj, which a dwarvish word that means kind of glittering hall, which
Mhm.
you would presume is the place upstairs, a cavern
Okay.
upstairs.
Shit.
And I'll write that one down for you too. And then,
They haven't seen this dragon for 30 years.
yeah, they haven't seen the dragon for 30 years.
Aye, well, means there's no rush. We should maybe. God, fighting the ones above, it's taken a lot out of us. Do us some good to have a good rest before we go in there.
The old sagely dwarf says, "You can set up rest here. It is warm enough here in the halls of the former king for you to rest if you so please. We will not move upon you in these halls. However, if you leave this space into any place you have not already been, our retribution will be quick."
The halls of the former king.
That's the name of this hall, is what they've called it.
Okay.
And you would know that when he said it, he kind of did it in a formal fashion, which means that if he'd had said that in Dwarvish, it probably would have been like more kind of focused on the proper nouns, whereas Common is a language that has a bit more kind of desire to have titles, whereas Dwarvish has a bit more desire to have like the name and the title are kind of the same thing.
Aye, got yourself a deal. And Sir Sama, old guy, whatever I would say here.
He says,
As long as you don't mind me snooping around the entire halls of the old king, this is quite interesting.
well, you would know that what he's relayed to you in the word halls of the old king would be this chamber and this chamber alone.
That's fine. I could spend the entire night looking around this chamber.
Damn right, there's a
All
bunch
of the cool shit going on.
There's a bunch of shit on the columns, the walls. It is a very ornate space. The ceiling in this space, it's a mighty dwarven hall, 100 feet long, 50 foot wide. 10 great pillars have fantastic images of giants, dragons, all straining to support the massive vaulted ceiling. The ceiling appears to have dwarfs kind of like ascendant. Actually more in line of what you would consider as archons, basically like the elemental aspects of dwarven kind, such as the azure, which are like the fire-bearded dwarves, which are the main kind of archon focus for the blaze hatches for obvious reasons, because fire
Very
beards,
cool.
fire beards.
Blaze.
There are torches kind of out and about, but the main source of light is the space in the middle. And like I said, the stone seems to kind of have this like nature where the light that touches it seems to kind of magnify off of it and create this kind of illumination that's like almost as if you're walking into an office space, like how like the white kind of walls and the paneling on the ceiling kind of creates this kind of, you know, just well warm temperatured lit room. So is true of this space. The floor and the walls seem to have this kind of just nature of making it more receptive to light. But yeah, if you go through the process of setting up for camp, and alternatively, Balgar, you go through the process of looking at the space, you would notice that there are several places that look like they have been smashed, like some of the frescoes have been broken into tiny fragments. Some of them look like they were replaced kind of very suddenly and very harshly with orcish graffiti. And this has just been kind of left there from aeons past. Each one of the doors seems to kind of notify you as to where it kind of leads, but even with those doors, some of the nature of the door has been broken and modified. The door that most of the Dwergar came in from is over here, and it is a massive double door that shows a single dwarf on kind of split down the middle on both sides, and in his hands he holds hammers, but on the back end of the hammers are axe heads.
Very cool.
And he's kind of just holding them up this kind of signifies that this room beyond is kind of like a crafter's room, a creator's chamber. And that's where the hammering seems to have come from when you first heard it. And as the Dwergar kind of spill out, allowing you your kind of space here, when they return back in, you kind of catch glimpses, and I'll snap the door open. Obviously, they're not going to let you through, but you would see that the waterways that are kind of present throughout run through this space. And in some of the spaces, you can see that there are blades and such kind of just stuck in the water. And there's a very kind of keen smell of a smithing chamber. And it looks like they are currently at work crafting all sorts of different things.
Fuck yes. Get it.
Would oh, you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So Glint kind of approaches the fire, and he says to Garrett, he says, "Are you the only one that speaks common here?"
Garrett wasn't the one that was speaking it. Garrett's the one who kind of walks over to you, and when you kind of talk to him, he kind of Garrett's the one who offered his services to you. And then in Dwarvish, he responds, I'm sorry, I do not speak the surface tongue. And then the old gentleman says, he cannot speak your tongue. I can. I am Snurevin. And that's the old smith who was about to leave. Nymira, as she sees you kind of interested in the doors, Balgar will move over to you, touch your shoulder, and say, I have something I wish to show you and you alone.
Oh shit. Yes.
We'll deal with that in a second. We're going to focus on Glint. So Glint, Snurevin stays so you can talk to Garrett if you have anything you want to interchange. But Orlandus, you said you can understand the Dwarvish. Do you also speak it?
Yeah.
Okay.
If spoken to, mostly he's just leaving Balgar to, speak to.
Yeah, again, Balgar and Nymira, the princess, they're going to do their own thing.
Okay.
Snurevin, the old forge master, is speaking to Glint because Glint was trying to talk to Garrett, the guy who volunteered to join you.
Okay.
So it's you who speaks common.
Yes, the guy up at the dais. And then this is the guy who's joining you.
Well,
I'll talk to him.
And Glint pulls out the other bottle of wine. He says, "Would you care to join me?"
I do not partake, Snurevin would say. And
oh, well,
Garrett.
It's unfortunate that your compatriots do not speak my language because I would prefer some company.
He gestures towards Balgar. Orlandus, again, you speak it, so you're understanding the situation. You can play mediator for Glint.
Yeah.
Or not.
I mean, I was gonna have a conversation with
Garrett?
Garrett, yeah. Okay. Just to figure out if he would know absolutely anything about the situation going on with the dragon. If he has any stories at all.
I came here when I was young, Garrett says. I came here with my father and my mother. My mother was Nymira's sister.
Oh.
When we came into the Black Mirror, we saw a great cavity above us, a hole, and we desired to search this space, but ascend. We saw in the water, the mirror, a gleaming, something we knew that our torchlight would reflect off of. We desired it, but before we could make any efforts towards it, the shadows erupted with a foul material that melted several of our number immediately. We fought against the shadow. I watched as my father grew, as we are wont to do in conflict, and the jaws of the beast descended upon him, ripping him in half in the first bite, swallowing whole in the second. My mother's luck was not as kind. She was swallowed in one. It was Snurevan, who assisted me specifically, and a couple of the other young folk, he gestures to the couple of people who were in the room when you first came in getting away. The princess fought bravely. She quickly retreated, seeing that everyone else was away from the shadowy beast. So, I have a desire to return. Now that I have grown, I feel I am more ready to make the shadows mine own, and perhaps bring a quarrel into the neck of that beast and fell it.
So after hearing that, her reply in Dwarvish, do you think if we were able to move this creature in a more favorable arena, would the rest of your kin help us kill it?
I do not think that there is anywhere besides the outside where it would go, and how it would get out I know not, as we were not able to map out the entirety of that chamber, and we have made no such attempts to do so since. The chamber that we entered into was some sort of vault with its floor broken out. Snurevan says that it was the vault of the Blaze Hatchet treasures, and the dragon seems to have absconded with them, perhaps adding it to her hoard.
Do you think the horde is the one in the bottom of the vault? Or
In the
do you
bottom of
think it's
in the
further
bottom
in?
of the mirror, yes. When he says mirror in Dwarvish, you would know that the translation would be a very kind of clean water surface that is reflective.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't mean
Gotcha.
it's an actual mirror.
Okay.
And so he would say, I assume so. We saw the treasures only briefly before we were attacked and melted. Glint, you carry on with sorry, go ahead. Do you have something else, Jonah? Sorry.
No, I'm good.
You were carrying on with Snurevan. He says he doesn't drink, but he does kind of go to the others who are staying in the chamber and kind of guard duty, and offers them via your offer wine, and they kind of pull out tankards, which they have, which are very ornately made, and kind of raise them up to take any amount of alcohol you pour into their cups.
Yeah, he gladly just like starts going around filling them up. Like
Yep.
he's being genuinely friendly.
As they sip, they kind of like at first kind of have like a bitter taste, and then kind of like a taste, and then you see Snurevan says, as they kind of start talking in Undercommon, Snurevan kind of translates and says, "They say it's much better than the mushroom ale that we've been able to make down here in our current state of things."
Oh, well, first chance I get, I think they might have left some more upstairs. I'd be happy to bring some more down for you.
If you wish to make the journey, absolutely. We will seal the door up, though, for safety purposes. We know not. Snurevan kind of takes a moment, fumbles through some things, and then pulls out a seal, which has kind of like a rope around like it, so you can kind of hang it from your neck. It's kind of like the size of like a Flava Flav like clock, and it looks like it'll kind of hang a little bit tight around your neck because you're not short and squat. So it'll be kind of like up here instead of like hanging down on your belly or whatever. He says, if you wear this as you make your way through, and he says the name of the space upstairs, which again is the Garsmuelger, Mueller, which is that one. He says that, what you don't know, and he kind of works through explaining that's what that is, the mushroom place. If you walk through that space and you are wearing that, the troglodytes will not assail you.
Well,
That's nice.
I mean, perhaps one of your fellows would like to join me. Two can carry more than one.
No, we don't go up.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Quite all right.
So if you have Arcana trained, you would know that creatures that live in the foul deep typically don't want to go too close to the surface because it's kind of like an altitude shift. So like you know how you go up the mountain and you get like winded and tired and you can't breathe very well? Similarly, like as they go up, it's the reverse. Like people who live in like the high Himalayas or whatever, like they're used to like the low kind of presence of air. They live down there. If they go up, it's like, oh my god, too much air, and then pass out.
Damn.
Also, they suck at
That's how I
seeing.
feel every time I go outside.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah.
Like when I go
Damn.
outside, I
There's too much fresh air.
just kind of like, yep. Anywho, they're not going to help you in that regard. But if you do want to head back up and grab supplies from upstairs, you can, if you want to. Is that what you're
Okay.
going to be doing?
Yeah. Yeah, he'd be more than happy to bring a few more bottles down to sort of.
Are you taking
Kinda-
anybody with you?
I mean, if somebody would like to come with me, that'd be great.
Okay.
I guess Lose?
Astrogoth can carry some shit.
Yeah, that's your
That
option.
is true. Astrogoth can carry a lot of shit.
Fair enough. Okay.
Big dude.
And then Castia and Lose, before I move into Blaze Hatchet shenanigans, is there anything that you two in particular, starting with whoever talks first, that you want to do, talking to anybody in particular, or are you just kind of standing around muted?
Mostly just looking at the carvings,
Okay,
not talking to anyone.
absolutely fine.
Castra's just
Ready to-
awkwardly staring at various Smurf Nevlin, trying to figure out who, why, what are these weird things. Sorry, it's racist, but
Just ready to fight a dragon.
Okay. All right, so Nymera, the princess of the Nymera family, will take you back behind the throne. And I went ahead and
Yeah.
opened that up. And as you enter into it, you realize it's not a, oh, hell yeah kind of situation. It's more of a, oh shit situation. As you look at the floor and you see a massive, ornate tomb.
Built just for you.
Oh wow.
The compass of Ashtar is placed directly in its center. Ornate designs on the exterior, but other than that, no icons or anything that kind of denote it to be anything of interest other than its massive size.
Sarcophagus located somewhere.
It's like a flat, it's like a tomb on the ground. So it's like more that someone has basically created a platform, like a dais on the ground, which you would know is kind of filled in with the sarcophagus or coffin of someone important. This is a place of honor, so it's more secure than just a freestanding sarcophagus.
Is this the resting place of Dargadin?
Aye.
Oh my.
Many amongst my number have desired to break it open, even though I will not allow you to take this place as your own for your family. I will allow you and any amongst your clan as pilgrims to enter this space to visit. I will, as long as I draw breath, or any of my progeny draw breath, will do nothing to disturb his eternal slumber.
Aye. It's most honorable of you.
If you need a moment alone here, of course you are granted it.
Oh no, you're welcome to stay if
Not my strongest desire. My place of rest is north of here. I was engaging in some study before you arrived.
what were you studying? If you don't mind me asking.
I was studying materials we have been able to recover. Pages brittle, pages torn. We have a prisoner in this space who has been of some assistance in this regard.
I don't mean to pry too much into your life, but you just keep saying things that are more and more interesting. What about this prisoner?
Not one you would be interested in meeting, unless you desire to treat with demons.
Yeah, you say no more.
As you are well aware, we were taught secrets that give us power here in the depths. I know that from what I have seen of surface dwellers, they are soft, but what I have been able to decipher regarding the blaze hatchets these past 3 decades, it seems that you had more in common with the Duergar, your people at least, than we would be wont to admit.
I sense a great sense of honor amongst your clan. Great warriors. I can tell you yourself, great warrior.
Perhaps in my prime. Perhaps in my prime.
Well, it would take a warrior to lead their people into a place like this and claim it as their own. I'm sure it wasn't an easy task.
We retreated from our conflict with the Black Dragon. I will say that that day still lingers in my memory, but I am not foolish enough to descend down and fight it again. However, I do not like these long-armed ones that continue to parade around above us. Most of my kin are not keen on rising up to the surface to engage them, and they are too cowardly to descend to our halls to fight us. One amongst our number in the depths that fell to the Black Dragon had a pair of goggles, very important goggles, that allow our kind to see without issue on the surface. It was our intent to have a scout look around above us. However, they were consumed. I presume that they have left their articles behind. If you are able to find those goggles, it might be the case that we would be able to join you on the surface in fighting these long arms, at least in a small measure.
I would be most welcome.
So long as it benefits us. And the long arms being dealt with greatly benefits us.
Tyrants, it seems. Be better for everybody if they were taken down
They are
one way
keen.
or another.
They are keen on killing those we have formed allies, or allyships with. The Snars, troglodytes, small clan of them, live up above. They are dense, as you would expect from their kind. Racist. They are dense, as you would expect from troglodytes, but they are agreeable.
Aye.
She says, I will give you time here, and when you are ready, simply let someone who is within the halls with you know, and they will make sure that either I or Snurevin are ready to take you to where you need to go.
Thank you.
All right.
And then I'm like a kid in a candy shop. I giddy the fuck out, and I look at everything.
Yeah. This
so many notes.
chamber appears to have been made in haste, but it looks like the platform that holds the coffin in was not made in haste. It looks like this was always planned to be a place of rest for someone. You would guesstimate that there's probably a good, 2-3 tons worth of stone and metal kind of placed on top of something beneath, and it looks like it was very specifically designed to hold the corpse therein. It looks like none of the kind of breaks or graffiti or anything to that effect befoul this place. But yeah, the walls are bland, no markings. The symbol on it is the compass wheel of a Ashtar, which is good and evil, the deity of good and evil. And it doesn't look like there are any kind of icons or markers. And the other thing, too, you would note is if someone wasn't a dwarf, they'd probably walk past this room and think that, like, this is nothing, not knowing full well that this is a burial site. It's only like about a foot off the ground, the stone. It's just like a step up onto a platform. Most would see this as like a hall or something, but you know better. Unmarked, but you're pretty sure that this is it. This is the spot.
Super dope.
Throughout the course of the long rest, you are not attacked or marred by the Dwargar, and you're able to kind of go through the space and kind of look at all the pillars and all the stuff in the hall of the former king, and kind of decipher everything therein. And Lose, having looked at it a bit before you, is able to kind of help guide in this too, as she's able to kind of take a look at it. The conflicts that are kind of present here seem to be that there was an alliance with the Blaze Hatchets and a group of giants, and apparently a family of dragons, specifically iron dragons, that happened during the formation of this redoubt. And it seemed that all parties in question were standing against the onslaught of an orc chieftain known only in this kind of telling as Dwarf Slasher. And the histories in your mind would denote that this is Kelgar, Dwarf Slasher, the one of the kind of more renowned orc chieftains of old. His name being taken by several beyond that, even one of the heroes of the Ossar Vale. But yeah, it's very, very kind of filling. Like a lot of the gaps towards the end of the story are kind of placed here. Not the minutia of like what happened in the last days, but definitely the kind of more broad strokes of there was a giant family, stone giants, iron dragons, and the Blaze Hatchets that were fighting in this redoubt, defending it against the massive orc horde.
God damn.
That's pretty cool.
What about
A black dragon? We're gonna fight it.
All right. So long rested up. Go ahead and get that in. Since you didn't do much in the way of, it might be enough. We'll see. But you did do some troglodyte fighting and stuff. I think in total it'll be a total of 150 per person for the space between massive fight to the death and this long rest. You didn't do much yesterday, so get another 150 experience per person, and if that levels you, so much the better. If not, then don't. Cool. And I'll make sure to put that on Astrogoth. But besides that, is there anything that you folks need to do on...
Glint did want to make it clear while he was sort of like enjoying the company and sharing drinks with all these people.
Mhm.
He wanted to say that while he can't presume to speak for his companions, he at least would like to move beyond formality to like genuine friendship. He finds these people very intriguing, and he's very intrigued by the what he's seen of the Blaze Hatchet redoubt so far. He'd love to continue exploring. He'd love to see more, and he'd love to be able to perhaps like visit or deal with these individuals in the future.
Yeah, so they are like, very friendly in the discourse. Snurevan would actually disappear from the space and return back to the forge below. But the ones that remain, being Garrett and the two that are kind of just there, are very just like, yeah, sure, yeah, sure. But what you're very able to kind of pick up from Orlandis, who I assume would be kind of the translator in this regard. Is that fair to say,
Yeah.
Jonah? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that they don't really have the power to say you're allowed access to the space or not. What you would know during the long rest is that if you kind of try to move beyond the space, with the exception of the hall that's been granted access for only Balgar, but if you folks were trying to kind of move outside of the space, then they're probably not going to be too kindly towards that kind of effort.
No, like everything, like Glint's just trying to be. He's not trying to cause any trouble or cause any problems that somebody else is going to have to take care of. He's trying to represent himself well.
Trying to
That's
be
sort of
friends.
to sort of like leave a pleasant experience. So if he shows up in the future, they're going to be like, "Oh, hey, that's my buddy Glint."
Success. Yeah, these three in particular, especially Garrett, will be very kind of endeared to Glint in the kind of process of drinking these bottles of wine. And yeah, when you went up with Astragoth, nothing seemed to kind of be untoward. You did see some troglodytes notice you from the shadows, but didn't really do anything as you were brandishing the symbol on your chest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we bring down like, I mean, I'm not sure what the total volume of wine is, but I imagine like a case of wine.
Yeah, a case of wine.
Back down.
More than fair.
Yeah. So we got plenty to drink. There's going to be some left over that they can hang on to and do whatever they wish with. Like, sort of like just like a gesture of good faith.
More than fair. All right. Okay, so anybody have anything else that they want to do in the resting?
Would Balgar ever tell us about the prisoner? Joe.
I'm thinking. I don't think that it would just come up for no reason.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So long rest of kind of resting up and kind of taking down information from the hall. Once that is done, you would then move on to the next kind of day, and they would lead you towards the big double door, which you've seen past, and by they I mean specifically Snurevan. And the dwarfs are hard at work here in the morning and have been working throughout your long rest, so some of you may not have gotten the best amount of sleep due to the loud pounding of metal and such. But as you kind of enter into the forge space, if you'd like to go ahead and do so, you'll note that there is a waterway, and it seems to run towards the back end of the hall, and there's a massive rent in the stone. It looks like a hole, a massive sinkhole in that space.
Don't like that.
Guessing the dragon's down there.
Snurevan would look to you and say, "That's correct." We climb. You see him kind of gesture towards the wall to the north. There's a bit of a climb there, and there we had in an attempt to redescend, put a ladder down from where we were able to kind of get up in our initial climb. We weren't able to climb against the buffeting water that came down from above, gesturing to the waterfall beneath your feet. And he says, so we climbed out there's a balcony, kind of gesturing over to the side. And the rope we descended down once in an attempt to see if we could recover anybody. We were once 2 score. As you can see, our numbers are closer to 1 score right now. The brave.
So I thought you said like 10 score, 2 score.
Ooh.
10 score, 2 score, now 1 score.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
10 score, dragon kills 8. They got up. The people who were like, revenge, ran back down there.
Dead.
Yeah, they weren't exactly, they weren't expecting a dragon's breath. So, like, when that hit, it kind of decimated them. Like, almost quite literally decimated them. And, yeah.
Well, next time we come back to pay these guys a visit after all this nasty business is done, Glint's going to bring them a case of WeMac.
Good shit.
So,
If you make,
oh, man.
if you are going to make your way down, then we can go ahead and move to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before they head down, Glint hands the seal back over.
Nods, and he kind of shoves it back into his pouch. And if you kind of make your way to the north wall and start kind of shimmying across, there's like a small little bit of a ledge that kind of like, it's just enough to fit like a dwarf's foot. So for some of you, it's easier because you have smaller feet. For some of you, it's about as difficult as they probably had a time of it. But you basically kind of shimmy feet climbing over on the rock over to this ledge over here, this balcony.
Before making his descent, Glint would, or I guess like before like embarking, Glint would make sure to like give really hearty handshakes to all his drinking buddies.
Yeah, and one of them's coming with you, so.
Nice.
Yeah. Garrett, who has kind of did a lot of prep in the morning, kind of getting ready and being kind of prepared, you'll note has a pair of short swords, and it looks like a hand crossbow on his belt. You'll note that he, as he's moving, this is something that is probably more noted by Lose and Glint. He seems to kind of walk in a very particular kind of way, which the dwarfs besides him don't do. Most dwarfs will walk very just loudly. He seems to be kind of moving on the fronts of his foot first with each step, and it just seems to be kind of a natural way that he's moving. But you do notice that he is not clomping like all of the other Dwergar have been in this space.
He's a bit more stealthy.
He appears to be a bit more stealthy, yeah.
So, in that spirit, Glint is going to sort of take the lead to scout ahead, and he will be moving stealthily as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a ladder straight down, so
How do we get to that ladder?
So like I said, like on that north wall, there's like a shimmy, and you're going to get to that balcony where the ladder's at.
How big is the ladder? Can I bring it to them so they can avoid the ledge entirely?
No. It's like a chain ladder.
So you'll note that there's a massive amount of water being kind of dropped off by the streams. So like if you were to climb down, you'd be climbing with water smashing against your head. So you can do that if you want. But yeah, the rope ladder that's over there appears to be a kind of semi-permanent fixture.
Oh, okay. And it's not a terribly viable option. Okay.
Right.
Do we get this shimmy for free, or are you gonna make us roll some shit?
No rolling.
Okay, yeah, I can shimmy.
That's what he wants you to. That's what he wants you to think.
Yeah, okay. I can shimmy a little bit.
He wants us to break our legs on the way down so the dragon has easy pickings.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't imagine Glint's going to have too much trouble, quote unquote, shimmying.
Yeah, it's magical climbing.
Shakira.
Also,
Can Glint just walk down beside us while we're going down the ladder?
Hold your hand.
And just a quick question. I mean, I think I got everybody on the board here, but is there anybody who is marching order isn't necessary, but is anybody like holding back in particular, or is there anything kind of like?
Oh Jesus, that's a big hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Orlandis is definitely going to be in the front.
Okay.
I assume Castia will just be towards the back and let other people take the lead with Sarth.
So no one's going back on it. Everyone is descending down into what you know to be a dragon's lair. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Shut up.
Just making sure that was all accurate. Okay,
Shut
cool.
up.
Going balls
I actually am
deep.
gonna go back to town.
As I'm climbing down the ladder,
Yeah,
I
town
play
seems good.
Survivor's Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
You'd probably hum it since you don't really have the hands free to play instruments.
Nah,
That's what
you
Mage
don't
Hand
know
is
me.
for, right?
Yeah.
Make me roll something. I do all of these things.
You know what? Can't argue with that logic. You do all those
Oh
things.
shit, we got 2 dwarfs coming with us? That's awesome.
Nice.
Okay. As you make your way down, there is a point where you step down onto a very small ledge, move to another ladder, and then descend it. But you have descended, by the end of the ladder trip, about 300 feet. At the end of that, I need everyone to just make a Constitution saving throw. You have advantage for it since you're kind of moving together as a unit.
Do I have to do this because climbing down that wall was essentially just walking?
No, you're fine.
Also 14.
All right.
Damn, Castia.
Cassia, this is the most physical activity you've had in your very short life. So, as you are kind of getting down to the bottom, yeah, you're a bit tired, exhausted even. You have 1 level of exhaustion.
Yeah, but think of the gains.
Gains.
Think of the games.
Gotta think of those gains.
Strength gains.
Can we go back upstairs and take a nap? That
Well, you gotta
That's a
climb
lot.
up. You gotta climb up
Yeah.
there. Sorry, it says.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
here?
You'll be fine.
You'll have to climb up there.
But what about like here?
Um,
No.
as you kind of settle into position at the base, I would like for everyone to go ahead and make a perception check. There's a thundering spray of water that's where you came from, descending.
Just attack me, dude.
Okay, you got it. Descending down from above. The water is a lot larger than that small amount of stream as well. Like there's some sort of cascade that's happening somewhere else in the space that's making it louder. So all you're really hearing in this space is just a loud thundering spray of water just smashing against the water in this space. Balgar.
Well, that's good because that means the dragon probably hears the same thing.
Right, but dragons are a bit more keen on hearing. As a note, they have dragon-like senses. But I'm not saying it knows you're there or nothing. That's not true.
No,
Dragon-
but
or
it's certainly,
Dragon senses, he says.
it's certainly
They know
Help.
things.
Yeah, they have DM sight. Anyway, to my point, there do appear to be marks on the ground. And it looks like the stone has kind of like a silt buildup. That's not too dissimilar from kind of the dirt around the mountain door outside. This appears to be kind of like more surface like soil. It does look like there are tracks like all throughout it that would lead you to think that a dragon has moved around in this space. Some of them are quite large, and some of them not so large.
Did
Shut up.
Castia reapply the dark vision sight since we had a long rest?
Can she?
Tom, do you give people dark sight? Or nah?
Sure, I'll hit the
Same people.
usual. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
So I point that out to Orlandus and Glint and ask if is that multiple dragons tracks?
Is it multiple dragon tracks, DM?
You can make a survival roll, perception roll, or investigation roll, and depending on what you choose, the answer will be different. I'll also allow for a nature roll.
Okay.
Okay, I'll roll something too.
All right.
I have at least one of those things.
Okay, I'll do survival. Nice, 20.
The larger dragon prints are very old and
Mhm.
undisturbed and kind of just caked. Very kind of almost ancient. Whereas the smaller ones appear to be more fresh and kind of stepping over some of the larger prints. Whether or not those larger prints are actual, or whether over time they've kind of settled out to grow larger, you're unsure. And as Balgar's kind of made aware of this differentiation, that there are definitely two sizes of tracks, he is unable to determine whether or not it's multiple entities or the same due to that discrepancy, whether or not it's prints that have grown out because they're older
Yeah.
or not.
I think it's the same size dragon. He's got little feet.
He was wearing big shoes.
I'm sorry, what were our options on rolls? You said perception, survival, nature, or investigation?
I was mainly just giving it to Orlandis, and then
okay.
Since Balgar was the one who fielded the question.
Okay. This is troublesome.
So these are like footprints and not like claw marks.
They're prints, yeah, they're prints.
Okay. And what is like, I guess what would be like, I guess like a ratio between like the big ones and the small ones?
There really isn't a ratio. It's just kind of random number. There's a bridge that appears to be.
No, I'm not talking about like number of prints. I'm talking about the size.
Oh yeah, small and large. Those are the two sizes. Like I would say that the small ones are still quite big, but the large ones are very massive. It's like the difference between the size of a larger creature and the difference between like a gargantuan creature. But the
huge as fuck.
To the north of you, there's a bridge that appears to be a dwarven construct, similar in kind to the structures above, specifically the bridges you walked over to get into the forge, and you would hear Garrett in Dwarvish say, "It was this way. I remember crossing this bridge," and he kind of points off to the right.
Okay.
There's another bridge around the way.
Glint nods, pulls out his crossbows, and proceeds forward stealthily.
All right. You watch as you do so. Garrett follows in suit. You see him kind of shifting his hands for a second, and then he vanishes.
Nice.
Oh,
Man,
shit,
that would really... I need to learn that trick.
Smart.
Glint keeps moving forward. Always looking for like traps and hazards.
But what about looking for dragons?
What if you didn't look for traps and hazards? What if you just went in?
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
assuming
brain strategy.
That'd be no fun.
I'm assuming if there's any traps, these Dwergar would let us know. I don't think dragons are really of the mind to booby trap their lairs. Kobolds, yes.
Racism again.
Dragons
have
are the
credit.
trap.
Lose, as everyone's kind of moving, can I have you make a perception roll?
Yeah.
Oh, how the hell did he get down there? He shouldn't be there.
What if he wanted to come and help us?
7.
Not doing too great.
No.
Yeah, they're
You
just
blink.
kind of like a very harsh angle, and it's very hard to kind of catch things that are going on here. And then, sorry, one other person, Joe, go ahead and make another nature roll as you're moving around this bend.
Nature. It's coming.
I believe it.
There it is.
So what you are noticing is that the kind of water level appears to be kind of like at where the ground is. It's not like perfectly flush. There's a bit of a dip down. I'd say about 3 feet. And based on kind of like the water patterning, it looks like at very numerous points during perhaps the last 30 years or so, this water line has fluctuated, has shifted between 3 feet. So sometimes it's been over, and you can actually see like water staining around the rim of where you're standing, and you can also see that at current it's lower than it has been. So there's like 3 feet down from the rock that you're standing on, kind of like it's almost like a lip of a pool, but just a lot farther down, 3 feet, where the water starts. But it does look like the water below you is very deep and moving. Seems to be kind of moving in a easterly direction.
I would point all of these things out to my friends. Let them know.
Sus.
The water be moving. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, sometimes it goes east. Don't go in there, it's bad.
You'd also notice as Glint is moving, of course you saw Garrett vanish, but you would see that there are footprints kind of following behind him.
As he moves here, he's gonna sort of like quickly check the sort of alcoves and like, I guess, like small hollows in the rock.
Yeah, snapping view. It looks like there are several different spaces kind of present throughout that are very ominous. You would see that the after this next dwarf bridge, it looks like the ceiling kind of tapers upwards towards the east, as in like the ceiling in this next space is going to be quite high comparatively.
Oh, I forgot to roll stealth. Would you like me to roll stealth?
I would actually, yeah, that'd be great.
So 25.
Doing great.
Do you want me to roll stealth?
I will say that at this point, you moving ahead, you're pretty certain that there is no way for you to verbally communicate with anybody outside of 10 feet of you. As you enter into this space, you understand why. There are multiple flows of water that you can't really like see on the map, but you can kind of detect to the north, to the south, and to the east, as well as the part that you are present at. And it seems like this body of water that you're now looking at is filled with this kind of dark silt. And as your dark vision is kind of catching it, you're not able to see kind of any kind of light or anything like that because you're looking at it in a kind of grayscale. So you're able to see more soundly that the water is actually spinning. It seems that this is a not super fast, but present kind of whirlpool or maelstrom kind of settled in between multiple points of water entering into this space. Where the water goes,
nobody knows. It's Hezrod's Trench. He did this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, Glint's just going to keep moving forward slowly.
Okay.
Looking for any dragon signs.
You definitely see something move in the water. And as you kind of snap to look at it, you realize it's not a dragon. It does appear to be a very large fish. The fish in question appears to have like kind of a almost baseball bat-like shape to it, whereas the bottom of the baseball bat is a fishtail, but the rest of it is baseball bat shaped. It has a very kind of just rounded head, and on quick glance, as it kind of dips back into the silt, it didn't look like it had eyes.
Okay, did it have a human face?
No human faces on these ones.
Okay, good.
I don't
About to be like, guys, this just got real weird.
I don't like reusing torments.
That's fair.
Thank you.
Fresh knives only.
Fresh knives only. Okay. So as you move into the space, you do see that there are a couple of steps that look like they can be kind of skipped across to get to the next kind of ledge.
How dry does the wall look?
Every space in this place is damp.
Okay.
Because again,
yes,
there's kind of like a humidity that's present due to kind of like the splash of the points where the water is coming in.
Well, I know that jumping from one slick wet rock to another is not the safest thing in the world.
You have spider climb, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay. Then you will continue moving forward. To about here.
Can I preface that I have my shield out and attached?
Yeah, I'm assuming that you're preparing for combat. So
Yeah.
you
Okay.
see Astrogoth has, I assume, his recorder in hand and is ready to fight.
Playing hot crossbones.
Hot cross bones.
Have a
Um,
lot of bones in a second.
I'm gonna feel really
is this
bad.
mold or is this metal?
No, that's from what you can see, piles of just a bunch of coin and shit. There's just a bunch of stuff over there, jewels, all sorts of
Ooh.
stuff.
Little bit of
Um,
pee.
Yeah, so moving over here and finally being able to see that, he kind of raises a hand and like waves it to sort of get everybody's attention, and then he like points with his crossbow
Okay.
at
Orland
the treasure.
Orlandis, Cassia, and Lose, as you're kind of moving up, and I presume Balgar, we're also moving up, right? Not into that
Yeah.
space, but just kind of like here. The bards. Cool. I need Cassia, Sarth, Lose, and Orlandis to all make stealth checks if you're trying to hide or be quiet.
5.
21.
Okay.
13.
I do have one question, John.
That
Yeah.
was advantage.
The ceiling of this chamber,
Yep.
how high is it?
80 feet.
Are there stalactites present?
There are none. It is completely smooth.
Damn.
And like I don't mean like worked smooth. I mean like naturally smooth. So there's some kind of like beveling, but there's no it doesn't appear that drip off is creating sediment pinions.
That's whack.
Sorry, stealth.
Well, there goes my premium idea.
True that.
Oof.
No, sorry. No. Not him rolling just as bad.
High five. That's what you two do, and it's just like this loud clap that rings out over the splashing. But as I said, there's not a lot that you can hear beyond the people kind of right next to you, right? And as you're kind of moving about, everybody can go ahead and make a perception roll. Except for Astrogoth and Valgar, because we're not there yet. Okay.
Oh, we all roll good.
Only one of you made it so far.
Damn.
Oh shit.
So 13.
Even with a double 20?
Yeah, I know.
Damn.
Stealth check is too powerful.
I rolled very good on my stealth, but not good enough. All right, so Cassia, as everyone's kind of maneuvering about, and Orlandis kind of, you see, and this is just out of the corner of your eye, and then you kind of move over to it. You see like an alligator head, like kind of look of a creature kind of pop its head up for just a moment and then dip down, and it almost looks like a skull.
Like, yeah, like
Yeah, it's like oh.
a very stinky boy appears in the water.
If we were to reverse the color scheme,
Yeah.
this would be what you see. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Not a
Kitty,
shippy.
no!
Don't do it. You'll get canceled. But that joke was terrible. I apologize. But
We'll clip it out. It's fine. This is pre-recorded.
when you see it, its eyes are sunk in. It has a skull-like feature to its face, and you can see just for a moment 2 large horns kind of on the side of it, and a fin that doesn't stick too far up over the water, like it's being pulled back by muscle tension, and then it just sinks back underneath the water. It's a momentary thing, and it's like right here when it happens.
Castia will like stop dead in her tracks, and since Sarth and Lose are right nearby, will like reach back and pat at them and point at the probably now eerily still water.
Who'd you say that to? Sarth and Lose? Because they're the only ones.
I didn't say anything. I just like reach back and pat
Okay.
to get their attention and point at what's
Because
probably now still
Astrogoth
water.
and Balgar are behind you, they will see it. Because Orlandis, Garrett, and Glint are in front of you, they will not see it. And in the very snap second after that gesture is made and they are made aware of something happening, the dragon ascends out of the water, directly pointed at Orlandis, and we will be starting an initiative count. If you are If you are Castia, Sarth, Lose, Balgar, and Astragoth, you are not surprised. If you are the other three, you are surprised.
Okay, before
What's
we roll,
what's the range for you, Jonah?
it's like 15 feet, I think.
He should have an aura up. Do you not see it?
No.
No.
Let me go ahead and make that visible for everybody. Hold on.
Like right here. This aura right here.
Alright.
How about now?
Yes.
So Lose, Sarth, Castia, and Garrett would be capable, but Garrett's not going to take that option.
Okay.
I will, and so will, I would assume, Sarth, because Orlandis will have advantage from the Twilight Domain feature.
Fuck it. Okay, so I'm gonna roll twice.
Don't roll 2 3s.
I'm gonna roll 2 2s instead.
Even better.
Chad, what's your dex?
It's 14.
God damn it! I
I'm
rolled
more
a 3 and a
dexterous
4.
than you.
No, I'm sorry, my dex is 18.
Oh, dang, we're tied.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and brush my shoulder off.
I rolled
trying
an
to-
8. What's that?
I'm trying to find a.
Well, I got WeMax, so I guess that means I win.
I also have WeMac though.
Okay, so we are tied yet again.
WeMac and I got tequila.
Damn, okay.
I've drank
What fucking
neither tonight,
tiebreakers
though.
are we doing now?
I don't know. It's beer. I think it's beer related. So
Fight!
I guess.
Got wasabi almonds.
And I'm gonna state ahead of time, just a quick note. And this is I don't want this to feel pointed to anybody in particular. So if you do kind of get that vibe, I apologize ahead of time. But this will be a particularly difficult combat. What with the direction that you've kind of moved in. So I just want to let you know ahead of time. Keep that in mind as we get into the fight.
And it's a dragon.
It's also you chose a very direct path, and rolls have helped you get there. What with doors being opened, allowing you to kind of ignore entire sections of the space, and then DC 13 persuasion rolls being hit even though you had disadvantage. Yeah, it's been good. It's been good so far. But
Except for the fact that now it's going to be very bad as a result.
I am feeling that vibe.
Here we are.
It's a dragon.
Yeah.
Okay. Is everybody rolled?
I mean, we got a dungeon. We got a
I
dragon.
didn't roll because I'm going after.
Okay, I got some people I need to throw up there. Hold on.
Yeah.
We got
Sarth
the whole
and
D&D
Cosmo.
experience.
And
Oh, Sarth would have taken. He wouldn't have rolled, sorry. And then Garrett would have rolled.
I got an 8.
You got an 8?
I got an 8 with advantage, yeah.
Who else took the Orlandis option?
Castia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me.
So at turn.
I rolled really poorly.
Do you want Castia or Sarth to go first?
I'll go with Castia first.
Okay. And flavor-wise, that
Going
actually,
home. It's dangerous here.
flavor-wise, that actually kind of works out because he was caught off guard, so
Okay.
it's fun. All right.
I will have you know you rolled the dragon's initiative out in the open.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Well, he wants us to know exactly when.
It's eventually going to be given. I mean, it says the type of dragon, but I can guarantee you it's not a young black dragon.
oh,
It's been modified. It has a name. I just didn't want to type its name out. It is based off of a young black dragon. If that helps you
Is
sleep
it-
at night.
baby.
Is it
That helps you
Steve?
sleep at night.
Is that his name?
We already had a long rest, John.
Yeah, I mean, this will be a fun fight. It will not be.
Will it?
Don't
It will
sleep.
not be an easy one. I just want to make sure we stress that. So, making sure everyone's on the board, right? Oh, Garrett.
And Astrogoth, did you roll for him?
Oh, sorry. Thank you. I apparently have a lot of things to control on my end. These are the fun games of D&D right here. Ooh! I get to beat the shit out of myself.
It's your favorite.
Yay!
Sorry, Astrogoth. The dragon is better than you.
Damn.
Okay.
Wow.
So
Damn.
Sarth in the
That's rude.
bottom. Astrogoth in the bottom, Garrett in the bottom, and in the bottom. All right. Glint, or Lose, who's got the higher dex?
We are tied on decks. We.
Then you can roll off her seed.
Roll off?
Sure.
1d6?
Alright.
Actually, it doesn't matter, because Glint, you're going to probably lose that 6, but go ahead and get it out there so we can redirect. But Lose isn't surprised, and Glint is. So Lose, dragon pops up. It looks like it is breathing inwards. So just to let you know what's going to happen, and then you can react with your turn. It looks like it's mainly focused on Orlandis, though. Just want to stress that.
That's fair.
But why?
Because you loud. Your plate go clink clink. We're gonna whip out our longbow and shoot at it. Nope. And
Oh,
then we're
no.
gonna go this way.
Alright. Pull the bow and quickly duck behind Balgar. Alright?
Yep.
The arrow hits its hide and kind of just snaps against the scale. Lose done. Glint, you are surprised. Your turn skips, moving to the dragon. The dragon breathes, because of course it does. I need,
Nothing.
due to splash, these 4 here to go ahead and make dexterity saving throws.
Is it hawking a loogie, or is it just splashing off the wall behind him?
It's firing it out in a cone, and due to the nature of this one, it's bouncing.
Oh, that's a hell of a cone.
Mm-hmm.
No, fuck me.
The cone in question for this dragon is a 60-foot. Normally, acid breath is fired in a line, by the way, just in case you were curious.
Yeah, that's why I was curious.
Yep. Okay, failure, and then I gotta roll the rest of them. So, Sarth will succeed as fuck, and then the spy will dex it up. Also succeeds, and no, he's not high enough level for that. Okay, cool. So the amount of damage that is indentured on a failure goddamn. Okay. It's a 38.
Holy fuck!
Sarth succeeded, so he'll take half. 15, 19.
Nope.
Pretty sure that means Cassie is just straight up dead.
What's your maximum hit point total?
22, because I'm level 3.
44 is the damage I'd have to do to
Okay.
outright kill you.
Yeah.
It's
Barely under it.
It is possible.
Barely under
But
it.
now at your 0 state, if I do 22 points of damage to you while you're down, I would kill you outright. But yeah, as it kind of just this kind of gross dark green kind of material splashes on you, and at first it's kind of like okay, but then you kind of feel it kind of settle on your skin and it melts into you. You watch as Cassia kind of spins around, a portion of her cloak kind of just dissipating in the air as it rips in half as she spirals down to the ground. Sarth kind of like raises his axe and kind of blocks some of it. Orlandis just takes it to the chest like a champion. And it looks like the invisible, not seen, but still unfortunately targeted. You can kind of see it cling onto a dwarvish space for a second, so they're like this emanation of a dwarf made out of the goo, and then that all disappears as it stays on him for a second. Alright, Astrogoth will move out onto the bridge. Hold on a second here. He's got his spells, I just don't know what he do.
It'd traditionally be a doot doot.
They do the big
Doot
dudes.
doot.
I think I'm going to lead with a bonus action hex. I am going to affect the dragon's dexterity ability checks, which will hopefully cause it to roll poorly in stealth. And then I will doot doot. Double checking. That will not hit. It kind of catches against the scales, and you watch it kind of scrape across and shoot off into the water. Astrogoth has moved 15. Astrogoth will continue to move 15 back behind Balgar, giving like a quick pat on his shoulder, and he said, "You got us into this. You got this, Dragon Slayer." Balgar.
Oh man!
So fucked.
I step forward and I try to cast slow at the dragon.
Okay. Success. In that you succeeded on the spell. Sorry, I failed on the saving throw. So yeah, they are slowed.
Hell yeah!
I'm going to denote that with a bright red dot on the top corner.
I'm gonna step back a little bit.
Actually, I'm going to make it blue because red seems hasty. Blue seems
Yeah.
slowy.
I inspire Orlandis.
Okay. Bardic Inspiration. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Balgar done. All right. The invisible and slightly wounded rogue will... you feel something brush past you quickly, Glint, and then you see him kind of manifest and fire as he kind of comes out and shoots the hand crossbow. He has advantage. He'll take the shot. 18 will hit, and he will deal an additional 2d6 damage. It doesn't roll it, so I'll just take the average. 16 damage with that shot. Minus 16. As he kind of catches it in like the side of the mouth, kind of snaps its attention over in your direction, and as he kind of... Wait, how's he acting? He's surprised.
Yeah. You get to
He did it anyways. I see why I did it. I see why I did it. I see why I did it. Okay, so he shoots, and then he moves into this kind of alcove here with the rest of his movement. So he bonus action dashed, ran and shot. You're muted, Chad. I can't hear you, Chad, if you were talking.
So am I to assume that I no longer have the advantage of stealth?
Oh, yeah, no, you're caught out. For sure.
Thanks for
Dwargar,
that, invisible buddy.
it wasn't him who caught you out. It was Orlandis. Yeah. Once it surfaced, it was able to see everything on the field.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks. Stay away from me, Orlando.
Yeah, you definitely didn't have any actual physical obstructions in between you and the dragon, which would be the only way you can kind of get a stealth. Unless you're invisible. Sarth is up. Sarth is going to...
Grab Cassia and run?
Yeah, so he's going to pick her up, and he'll be moving at half his speed, and his action was pick her up. So he gets there, and when he gets to that position, he will drop down, so he's behind the railing of the bridge a bit. Cool. Castia, death saving throw. Success. That is not a failure. All right, Orlandis.
I'm surprised.
Oh, that's this initiative round still. Shit. All right, Lose, you are up.
So now we're back at the top. And
Correct.
This is
No surprised.
Yeah. I'm going to do a bit of the same before. Because that... Oh. Yeah, we still gonna do it. Going to shoot it with my longbow. Or not.
Bounces off the armor.
You still
again.
shoot.
Yeah.
You just don't hit.
Yeah. I I'm better with like close range stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna.
Can you
I
still take a
explore.
stance with a bow, or no?
I don't think so. I think it's
Yeah.
only with melee.
Well, no, you take a stance at the start of the initiative. That just happens.
Oh,
Oh.
You can only gain the benefits of stances if you're using melee weapons because they're all kind of melee focused, and also your
Right.
Dawn's Grace strike is melee focused.
Oh, that's right.
All right, Lose done. Glint, you are up.
Double crossbows. I'm going to throw something up real quick just so I can read it.
remember you have to reload.
That's a lot.
Get out of here.
You have to load the crossbow.
Okay. Cool. So, double crossbows, and I'm going to use Psionic Strike on one of these.
Okay.
So let's just see what hits first.
Yeah, you don't have to use Psionic Strike on anything. It's after you hit.
So
18 hits.
So that's going to be 11 damage. I'm going to go ahead and...
Oh,
Yeah.
its AC
Fire
right.
on D6 is pretty good.
Real quick note: its AC is currently 16 because it's slowed.
Okay, cool. So 18 hits. I'm going to go ahead and keep that roll. I'm not going to re-roll it, and I'm going to go ahead and put the Psionic Strike on it. So
Okay.
that is a D6 plus 2. And that's force damage. So that's 6.
Mm-hmm.
So total on that first attack would be 17.
Got you.
Second attack, I don't know why I rolled twice.
The 12 will miss.
Right, so 12 will miss.
Pink. Okay.
God, roll 20 is being like real finicky right now.
Yeah, it's being a buck.
Yeah, after firing his shots, he kind of moves this way, and knowing that his dwarven buddy is there but invisible, as he moves.
No,
he
he's not
just says,
invisible.
Move.
He's not invisible.
He's visible now.
Yeah, invisibility as a spell. It's not greater. He just was invisible, so the next time he shot, he became visible. Okay, so on.
Okay. Then he's gonna kind of like tuck himself in this alcove.
Perfect. As you kind of move away,
1, 4. Cool.
you can feel the hold of the chronomancy kind of on the dragon outside Balgar, and as it kind of realizes its speed is kind of slowing, it kind of places its hands together and turns around to dive down. It's going to use its action to hide, and so it is going to roll with disadvantage. So you can see it very clearly moving into the water and not very far away because its speed is also limited by the slow. But it gets underwater, and you can see Astrogoth kind of like holding the recorder and go, toot! And as he does so, you kind of see a flare of the hex, and you can see the outline of the dragon neatly in the silt as it wasn't able to descend deep enough to conceal its whole frame. At the end of its initiative, it's going to attempt to wisdom save out of the slow. What was the DC?
14.
It will fail. It is still slowed. That's an annoying fucking thing to happen.
Good. Fuck that dragon.
But I will say this. It is 15 feet submerged. It did back and away. So if you're firing at it with range attacks, the range attacks will have disadvantage. If it's sight-based stuff, you're fine, though. But anything that makes a range attack, you're going to have to deal with that disadvantage because of the water. It's not so much that you're shooting through the water or anything. In some cases it would be, but it's also kind of like the distortion, refraction happens, and also the silt. I mean, you can see it, you can aim at it, but it's still kind of concealed, is the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
All right. Astrogoth, seeing the situation, not being able to help with Cassia, kind of looks to the situation and kind of, okay, rushes out and gets to there. And I actually messed up on my last one, so I'm going to rectify that here. I did not know Astrogoth was 5th level, so he should have actually fired 2 Eldritch Blasts on the last turn. So for this one, he's going to doot. instead.
Whoa, we're doing 3 dudes?
Well, we're just doing 3 dudes to make up for the lost
Okay.
dude on the last dude.
But Doot is a whole new song.
Yeah.
I want to say, Zach, if you watch this back, we miss you, buddy. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. First one and the last one will hit for sure.
Like that.
Actually, I had said range attacks. I'm catching myself. I don't want to get too overexcited. The first one will miss because there's disadvantage on the attacks. So
Wait, wouldn't the first one be towards before you dive down, since we're making up for the last one?
Oh, you know what?
What?
Fair. I'll allow that. That's good logic. I'll allow that. That's fair.
Good lawyering.
That's some good. That's some good. Yeah, Eli would be proud. So 14 down.
That's what 300 years of the Feywild will do.
Lawyering.
Who's been in the Feywild for 300 years?
You, not you.
Not me. I've been with fucking humans.
So, bam, 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 catching the target neatly. Astrogoth has moved his full speed and has gotten to that position. I actually need to roll 3d6 though. I don't want to forget. So it'll be 9 extra because the hex damage. All right. And another thing I forgot to do, since this is Jonah's problem for the super bad failure on the stealth check, can you go ahead and roll me a d6? Jonah,
What? Oh, I'm sorry.
d6, please. Okay,
4.
no worries. All right, Astrogoth's done. Balgar, you're up. So yeah, you can see Sarth is kind of carrying Castia in your general direction. And
Concentration is an action, right?
concentration's nothing. It just sits. So if you cast another spell that has concentration...
Don't look at that. You don't see that.
What, slow? I already know what it does. You don't have to maintain it or anything.
I heal Castia.
All right.
I touch her.
Cure wounds or healing wood?
Cure wounds.
All right. Step forward, touch Castia. Go ahead and throw it. 12 healing back for Castia. We'd love to see it. That's your action. You still have a bonus action, but probably not much you're going to want to do unless you're throwing another Bardic.
Nah, it's still on.
Well, you can have multiples out. You don't. It's not just one.
Oh, then I give Castia some Bardic inspiration.
Grabs a hold of her.
I'm just playing music.
The light of the Dwerson happens as you're kind of strumming the lap harp in your hand, and as you're kind of looking at her as she comes to, say something like inspiring. All right. And
something bitch dragon.
Garrett says to Glint, "This isn't a great idea. We shouldn't be sharing the same cubbyhole." He moves over like so, and he is dashing. He kind of jumps onto this ledge here, and as he kind of hits that point, during the process, he fires a single crossbow in at. Nope. He makes it over there. All right. Yeah, because if it came up and breathed down your secret cubbyhole, that would have not been good for both of you. Okay. Once Cassia has been restored to health, again. Oh, oops. There we go. He is going to no action, just set you down, so you are on the bridge, and then he is going to move out and get in front of Orlandis, and he will take the dodge action, kind of holding a defensive posture. Castia, you are laying on the bridge. You're neatly tucked in a position between the two railings, so you can't see it at your current state unless you stand up.
But I theoretically have cover?
Oh, you have total cover. It cannot see you either.
Okay. Sorry, I'm scrolling through. There's a ability that I'm trying to find again here. Yeah, we're gonna do a little my Channel Divinity Twilight Sanctuary to do that obnoxious 1d6 temp hit points at the end of every person's turn. And
yeah, and you create an aura, right?
Yeah. So 30-foot aura.
And we'll make it kind of moonlight blue. Okay. So, quick note for everybody: if you are inside of this sphere of dim light that's kind of present, this twilight sphere, um, when you end your turn inside of it, you can do one of the two options: get 1d6 plus 3 temporary hit points, or end an effect that's charming you or frightening you.
And then as a bonus action, I will healing word myself to get a little bit more back.
Okay.
Yeah, magical inspiration. What does that do again? I forget. Hold on, let me look.
You can add to the healing with that. So if Cassia has inspiration, she can roll your inspiration dice and add it to the amount.
You.
So
Yeah.
roll a d6 and add it to that 6.
By God, I'm full.
We're looking good, folks. We're looking good. All right, Cassia done. Orlandis, you're up.
Don't forget,
yeah, staying
Orlandis,
down
you
below
also
the railing.
are
Sorry.
inspired. You're so inspired.
Yeah, Orlandis, you have inspiration as well. But
Okay.
a quick note: in your current stance, Sarth is in a position to receive any attacks for you. It looks like he's kind of trying to be your shield here. He does look kind of messed up from the acid, but it looks like he dodged most of it, and the axe managed to not be damaged too much by it. In fact, it's actually clean now because it was kind of grimy from the ogre or the Denisotvan that had it and was using it rapidly, and the acid kind of just like power washed it.
Okay.
Convenient.
Oh jeez, there's really like I can't really do much here. Let me see.
If you need to run, you can run.
Thinking about it.
Better part of valor.
I'm going to inspiring word. No, because Sarf just took his temp, right? He just took his temp HP. I'm gonna inspiring word our dwarf friend here, or Durgar friend here. He's within 60 feet, I think. I think that's how far it is.
75. He's too far up.
Oh, shit. No, it's 50, never mind. Alright, so then,
Sarth?
yeah. Huh?
Sarth?
No, because he just got temp HP, right? For ending his turn?
Oh.
He ended his turn before I did the aura, technically, because he went first, so.
Oh, okay. So then, yeah, I'll give him temp HP.
Okay. Roll it.
D6 plus...
So plus
5.
5? Okay.
5 total, sorry, not
Yeah, I know.
plus 5. I don't want to group up with everyone and get hit by the fucking splat. Yeah, he'll start moving up and then take the dodge action.
Okay.
Yeah. Start moving that way and then take dodge action.
Orlandis done. Lose.
Gain 6, 10 HP. Jonah.
Oh, thank you.
I'll just roll for folks because I have a quick button for it already.
Cool,
Gotcha.
So Lose, you're up.
Cool.
Kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gonna. What I do?
You can do it.
Yeah. I'm gonna try another longbow. It's disadvantage. Oh. All right.
That'll work. Go ahead and give me that damage.
It'd be like quintuple damage. That was 2 crits on the same roll, right?
I know, right?
Not how it works. Glint, you.
It's like exploding, right?
Let's say if you have anything else, go ahead and finish it out, and then Glint, you are up.
That was it.
Sorry if I'm rushing stuff. I just want to make sure I get the
No.
Roll 20. Stop it.
timing.
9 for you, Liz.
5, 10, 15, 20.
Could have just done 15 there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is this thing under? You said this thing's underwater.
Correct. So any range attacks against it have disadvantage.
Dwarf friend is nowhere to be seen. Let me see. 15. Oh wait, I've got 35 feet of movement.
No.
Yeah, he's gonna move. He's gonna move. I'm sorry. How far underwater is it?
About 15 feet.
So from here to here, about how far is it? And you said
About
range
30.
attacks.
Range attacks
range
have
attack-
disadvantage, yeah.
Fuck it, I'm just gonna fire my hand crossbow twice. What
Shoot.
else am I gonna?
You're going to fire 2 hand crossbows.
Right.
That will miss. That will miss.
Okay.
Its current armor class is 16.
Okay. I couldn't remember if you said it was 16 and then 14.
18
right?
base, minus 2 for slow.
Yes.
All right. Since you were sassing back to me, Tom, go ahead and roll a d6. And Glenn,
I
go
was
ahead.
just asking for clarification.
Glenn, you've already actioned and you've already bonus action. You still have 15. You're just backing away. Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of backing back into my safe nook.
All right. No recharge. It is going to attempt to stealth again. It has disadvantage, but because it's going into deeper depths, it will have advantage as well. These will cancel each other out, so it'll be base roll. Does anybody have a passive perception of 17 or higher?
Negative.
You said yes, Joe?
In real life.
You're now dead.
I will say this: as it moves, you do see that it's kind of backing away. It very quickly kind of rolls its weight, its head over top of it, and by quickly I mean it's obviously slowed, but it kind of rolls over top and pushes back towards you. So you do know that it probably moved closer to you, but it's still deep, and it will attempt to get rid of the slow effect with a wisdom save.
No.
It failed. Yeah. This will be round 3 of it being slowed. This is very aggravating for me.
Now you know what it was like when the rest of us were fighting Malika.
I'm getting G-Joe.
Side question while we're at it, Don. Is the dragon wearing any type of metal objects or armors?
No, it's wearing water. It's wearing a whole ass lake.
Okay.
And I am gonna, if you cast Heat Lake, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. The dragon turns to acid, and then
You just freeze it in a block of. Freeze it, block it.
Which of your DM guild books is Heat Lake in?
Astrogoth is going to move to here and kind of pat Sarth on the back and kind of look back and point in that direction. And then Astrogoth is going to use his action to try and perceive it.
Damn.
You see him kind of like Hunter kind of like looking down, holding the recorder in his hand, and then he goes, there, and he points, and you see the kind of bright kind of flare from the hex, and you can see that it's kind of like visible now. It's not like highlighted. You still can't technically like shoot at it because of its current depth, but you know where it's at. It's about 20 feet underwater, and it's like coming back towards the group. All right. That's Astrogoth's turn. Balgar, you're up. Again, sight-based effects. You know where it's approximate location, but again, due to its depth, it's in the silt and whatnot. It's not really a targetable thing, if that makes sense.
Can I shatter the general area?
Yeah, since you're shattering into the water, that's perfectly fine.
We do that. We do these things.
Yes, and
God,
it's
I love shatter. It's
not-
so fucking spell.
It is a con saving throw, so I have no ill effect due to slow. I'm going to go ahead and make that con saving throw base.
I did up it to a level 3 spell as well. So
Yeah, con save is still
I can't slow you again once you're out of it.
right. Con save still. Well, this is not. You're still slowing me. Yeah, that's not changing. Shatter doesn't get rid of that. So I'm taking half that damage because its con is pretty beefy.
Not so wise.
That will trigger. Hold on. I need to see.
No.
I need to see slow. Can you throw me slow up?
Mommy.
Yep. Here it is.
Don't threaten me, Elizabeth.
And it can't use reactions. Okay, so it losing a total amount equal to half its hit points recharges its breath weapon. However, it cannot then use the reaction in Bloodied Breath to shoot it out now. So, damn.
Good job, Joe.
It still has its breath weapon though recharged. So that is a fun time.
No, hold on, I'm gonna roll for Joe here.
All right.
Oh yeah.
He is going to move over to here. He's going to use his bonus action to hide. Stealth check. Yeah. Whoosh. And he's going to ready an action to shoot it with his hand crossbow. If it is within range when it ascends, which will be like one step forward. Due to that. All right, Sarth. Trying to think if he's real stupid or not. He's not. He will continue to dodge. And when he got patted on the back, he's going to look to Lose and kind of move towards her. Do you want to say anything in response to him moving towards you or no?
I have a boyfriend.
As a free, I have a boyfriend.
I have a boyfriend, or like, hey, dumbass, dragons breathe fire. Anything.
Is there anything you want to say in like a limiter? Do you want to try and pause him from moving towards you or no?
No.
Okay. So he's going to move over to Castia once again and kind of get into a position. You're still laying on the ground, right?
Yeah.
He's kind of standing over top of you and kind of like holding a defensive posture.
And he can have hit points too.
Yay. Well, no, he can't because he already has the temporary from Inspiring Word, which is over that amount.
Oh.
Yep.
Nice.
He'll take the not frightened because he was kind of he's still unsure, so you're bolstering him in that regard. Mm-hmm. Cassia, you're up. You're still prone.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to move, you have to stand up and then move 15, or you can just remain where you're
at. Can I peek over the railing to see the dragon?
If you do so, due to the situation, you'd have to use an action to perceive, since it wasn't pointed out to you when you were looking at it.
Okay. I am gonna move to here-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 15 feet.
All right.
To be out of the way, but still have my aura covering most of the people.
And you still have an action if you want to take it. You can dodge. It gives you benefit.
Yeah, dodge sounds like the best course of action.
All right. Yeah. Orlandis.
I'm just gonna step out to see if I can see it real quick.
Okay, so you were kind of able to see where Astrogoth pointed, and you can kind of make out it's down there, but it's not targetable with range attacks because of its depth.
Okay. There's really nothing I can do, so I'm just gonna step back, take dodge action, and my turn.
All right. Lose.
I'm actually gonna split up and go down here with Astrogoth and ready my longbow for an attack whenever it comes back up.
Okay.
Probably a dumb decision, but...
Lose done?
Yep.
Glint is up.
Glint is going to move out to his previous position where he was shooting at the dragon.
Yeah, if you're just popping and shooting, I got you. If there's nothing new, we know.
Is it above water?
It's not. If you pop out, and you also weren't out when Astrogoth pointed at where it was, so you don't know it's where it's at.
Chose the dwarf and ready in action to shoot it if it
pops
came up.
Okay.
Since I can't really get bonus action, I'm going to use my bonus action to use Psionic Recovery to recover a Psionic dice.
Okay.
So my action, ready in action to shoot it if it comes up.
Bonus action recover. Got it.
Yeah. So that's my turn.
All right. So with my movement, I'm going to pop up, and with my action, I am going to, again, noting where the hex is coming from and understanding it, but still being slowed. I cannot...
No, dude.
I cannot...
Don't worry about that.
I cannot not shoot because of the main reason being my breath weapon changed when you dealt damage to me. I am going to be firing a line at these two, so it would be Lose and Astrogoth. I wouldn't have chose Astrogoth if Lose wasn't right there, but
sorry.
It was going to be two of you, and It was either that or Orlandis and Balgar. And I think I've done enough harm to Jonah and just Jonah in general, you know? Like,
Yeah, John is a cool
Alright,
guy. You
are we
should...
rolling Dex?
deck saving
for
throw, yep.
save?
DC 14.
Fuck.
Does anybody have inspiration for Astrogoth?
I have bardic inspiration.
Not a thing that I can get from you, no.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
I'd
hold on to
absolutely
my
give him mine.
inspiration forever.
Okay, if you don't want to use it for, Zach, whose character might die.
Stop. I don't.
Okay. Let's say you got a bad save as well. Both of us take
Yeah.
44 points of acid damage as it
Oh,
just
shit, that's
shoots a line through both of us. I believe we're down, right?
Rip. Yeah.
40 fucking 4.
Wait, did it fire its acid breath from underwater?
No, it popped up and shot. So there's
Yeah,
going to be
it
readied actions
Okay,
that happen.
so-
Take them.
Wait,
Right.
no, I had 9 temp HP.
Oh wait, sorry.
I am not
Hold on. No,
dead.
no. What did you say your action was during your last turn,
For me?
Elizabeth? Yeah.
Shooting at it.
Oh, so yeah, this is an interesting.
Yeah, I didn't dodge.
So this is an interesting counterplay. So go ahead and make your attack, Elizabeth. Go ahead and make your attack, Chad. Nobody else had attacks open.
The dwarf.
The dwarf. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
None of the players had it. Yeah.
I got you. Okay,
He has
so-
advantage, and he will do 7 extra, so 15. Your attack will miss, Glint,
Mhm.
and Lose, bow attack.
I did. I got an
Oh
8.
yeah, so miss. So basically, it pops up so suddenly, you think it's going to go a lot higher than it does, and you fire, but all that happens is its head kind of pops out of the water, and then shoots the line straight at you. So as your arrow flies towards it, the acid hits it, and you just watch it melt, and then it hits you, and you fall over. And then Glint, you fire at its side, and you catch it kind of like on its like harder armor. And then at the end of its initiative, it's going to roll once again to see if it can get the fuck out of slow. 14. Finally.
I
Oh.
lied to you
Why?
because it's a 15.
If
The
you,
DC is.
yeah, if you scroll up, it does say 15 on
Oh,
the text
I'm
he
sorry.
linked. He just gave you false hope, I
No,
guess.
no, it's not even a hope because like normally like
It's okay.
I
You
know
know, if it was the other way around and you said it was a DC
No.
14,
Here, hold on. I just want to make sure you don't think I'm flubbing because again, I'm rolling out in my DMs, but I just want to make sure you understand that I did just roll a 14 and fuck you. Wait a
Elizabeth, you
meta
say that you were
meta
still-
Duprayed me. I'm Dupre.
I got you.
Son of a bitch.
Elizabeth, did you say you're still standing
Gotta be
because of the
2
temp
steps
HP, or are
ahead.
you actually down?
No, I can't math. Yeah.
That's turn 4 of slow. Okay, so it's a minute long, right, for slow?
10 rounds. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So
You're almost halfway there. You're gonna make it.
Astrogoth is going to make a death saving throw. I feel bad about this. Death save. That's 1 failure.
Oh no.
All right,
Save
Balgar.
them, not me. I've lived a long life.
We're so fast. We're the dwarf feet.
Pump.
We're going in. I play some cool music and
Healing word.
a healing word, Astrogoth.
Okay. Throw it. All right. I will note that he did lose concentration on the hex, so it no longer has disadvantage on its dex checks.
And as an action, I play some heavy metal towards the
Sharp
dragon.
note. Throw it. Do you want to spend your inspiration?
Shut up, dude.
Do you?
No. No.
You'll
never.
get a crit. You'll get a crit though.
You'll get a crit.
I mean, you could do it.
No.
You sure? Because you're gonna miss if you don't.
I'd rather miss and look like a fool.
All right. Okay. So the Dwergar attempts to hide. As noted, the dragon doesn't care, and he's going to shoot. He was only able to hide last time because he was underwater. So crossbow, miss. Sarth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No.
He's going to run and jump out onto the dragon's head.
No, I say no.
It's too late.
Yeah, but I do say it.
He's going to make an athletics check. He has advantage. He lands
Oh my
on
God.
the head. And his action is to climb onto a larger creature, which means he not only kind of gets onto the head, he kind of grabs a hold of the horns and is now on the dragon's head. He does not have an action. His turn is done. No, he doesn't have it. It doesn't have another action. His action was grabbing or mounting a larger creature. It's a skill trick for athletics.
All right.
Cassia.
My boy's getting wild out there. I will step forward so that I can get line of sight on Losay for healing word. Click that. A whole 5, but that's more than 0. So
That is more than 0.
if I step out, I will stay back here. I've seen what that acid did to me, and now 2 others. I don't want to. So I'm done.
Oh,
Orlandis.
Okay. I'm gonna step 15 feet out.
my ancestors will protect me, guys. Don't worry.
Alright.
I believe.
Sarf is on the dragon?
He is on the dragon.
Alright. I'm going to use Direct the Strike on Sarf.
Okay, so he gets to make an attack roll, and because he is mounted onto a larger creature, he has advantage on his attack rolls against the creature.
Nice. Okay, cool.
So he's going to make an attack with his +1 great axe.
Damn, son. Come on.
He kind of is holding on to it, and it's not really moving very fast, and he's expecting it to kind of like dodge or something. And so when he swings down, he just catches the horn.
Okay.
All right. That's your action.
now, yeah. Is anyone...
Astrogoth and Lose are the only 2 that you probably want to inspiring word any on that regard.
Okay, so then yeah, I will give Inspiring Word to Lose.
Okay.
That's another D6 plus int. 5 again.
All right.
And that's both of my Inspiring Words.
Cool. Lose, you're up.
And then 15 feet back.
And we're going a little over, sorry.
That's alright. We will once again longbow that shit. 22.
That'll hit.
Sick.
You see that damage?
8.
Nicely done. All right, Clint. You're muted if you're talking.
He's going to move closer,
Mhm.
kind of over here to where Sarth was.
Yeah.
Kind of out on the edge, actually. Fire both his crossbows.
Okay.
The 22,
Yep.
that'll hit. Cool, I'll take that. I'm also going to Psionic Strike.
Uh-huh.
That's an extra 4 force damage.
Okay.
And then second hand crossbow. Boo, that's a 9. Whiff.
All right. It goes to the dragon. It is going to use its movement to descend. Its swim speed. Sarth goes underneath the water. You watch as they both disappear into shadow. It will use its action to death roll or make its itinerary of attacks against Sarth. It is.
Should have actually urged to jump onto the dragon.
It is slowed, so it can't make its full itinerary. It can only make 1 attack, even if it has a means of making multiple attacks. Roll a d6 actually for me real quick, just to make sure it doesn't just breathe him to death underneath the water. Yeah, you, Joe. You do it. Ruin this kid's life. Do it. You've been doing so hot. I want to see the clickety clack. Throw that dice. Oh shit.
Is that good or bad?
That's
I don't
bad.
know.
That's gonna be its acid breath, I think.
Oh no.
Fuck you.
I said it descended. I'm not
You're
changing
gonna have to
that.
tell his mom.
It's going to shoot its arc upwards
Oh, fuck.
because it's coming out of the water. You'll have advantage on your dexterity saving throw, Glint, but it's firing its acid line straight up through Sarth and then hitting you as well. Kind of not so much hitting you; it's kind of like going over you and like splashing down. So go ahead and make a dex saving throw, Sarth, or not Sarth, Glint.
I will fuck you up, dragon.
Well done. You'll only take half, and
Which is 80.
dex save from Sarth. Okay, Sarth is on board. So it's going to be 38 half, which would be 19 damage. Sarth is still alive.
Go
How about that 10
Sarth!
HP I gave him earlier? It's
Yeah,
coming.
it's very helpful.
Okay, so
Yeah,
if I take 19 damage, I'm gonna go ahead and use my protective field.
Okay.
So I will reduce it.
And just so we know, the vagity, I did kind of say it descended. Its swim speed is 40. It descended the full lot, so it is 4. Or sorry, hold on. Slow reduces it by 10, right?
Yeah.
I believe it's half.
Uh,
I think it's
click slow again for me.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I keep asking you to do it. I should just probably read it the first time.
its speed is halved.
Okay, so
Yeah,
then
it's
it would
half.
be 20, so it's 20 feet below. And as we stated before, 20-foot depth is range attacks no. So it'll go to Astrogoth, who is lying on the ground, gets up, and will move like so. We'll just take the dodge action. I'm just gonna have a nice little rest here. Is what's gonna happen there.
I'm gonna work on hot cross buns too.
Yeah. Balgar.
We shattering.
Okay, with Sarth on there, huh? All right.
I mean, we shatter towards the back end of the dragon.
There's
so
no precise saving
so
like
it
that.
doesn't hit it.
They are
Sorry.
currently in the same space, so if you hit the dragon, you hit him. Sorry. It's fine.
Always...
No, but let me think about it.
Okay. Do you want to do it?
You could ready an action for when it surfaces.
No,
Or you could
we
just
don't-
do it.
we
You
don't-
could just
we
live
don't
your
wanna
life.
kill we don't want to kill the kid.
You're not doing it?
If you kill
No.
the kid, you're telling his mom.
True.
I play music for the kid and I inspire him to be better.
He can't hear you, dude.
What if it's really
I
loud?
think-
It doesn't matter. It only matters if I can see him. That's how this
It-
game works.
Really? It doesn't say here?
No, I don't know actually.
Click it. You sounded so certain. Just throw it up real quick.
No.
Inspire.
No, DM. He only needs to see him.
The Dwergar will once again. That can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, he can.
Oh, shit.
So the Dwergar is going to hide again since he can. And he doesn't do very well. And then he's going to ready an action to shoot if it pops up. All right, Sarth is attacking the creature. He will do so recklessly. He is attacking with a slashing weapon underwater, which means he's doing so at disadvantage. But reckless means he's attacking with advantage, which means they cancel each other out.
Doesn't he already have advantage for riding on the thing?
True.
Correct. There's no double advantaging though.
Yeah.
Oh, so he doesn't have
No.
to. He doesn't have to reckless. That's the point.
I'm trying to keep my boy alive.
Okay, fair. He'll make a single attack.
So, for clarification, piercing weapons don't.
Piercing weapons inside of a water fight, no penalties, right? But yeah, shooting at the creature through 20-foot depth, it doesn't matter. It's not going to go that far.
Mm.
But yeah, he is missing unless somebody wants to spend their inspiration.
I don't have one.
I don't have any.
I have Bardic Inspiration, that's it.
Fair enough. He misses. All right, Castia.
Wait, didn't Sarf have Bardic?
Oh.
No,
No.
dude, he couldn't
Oh,
hear
no,
me.
no, no.
He couldn't
Shit,
hear.
that's right.
I
Yeah.
tried
Almost
so
got
hard.
it. We almost got it.
Sorry.
All right,
Played my music so loud.
Castia, you're up.
Castia will come out here.
This is so depressing. Twice now.
Sarth needs this heroic moment. How far away am I?
It is
It's
20 feet in the
down.
water, yep.
And it's 30 feet away, so that should be within 60,
Mm-hmm.
I would say. Alright, let me see here. Well, Guiding Bolt probably wouldn't be a good choice, because that is a ranged attack, so that's gonna be...
Can't hit, yeah. It's going to be no long-range attacks at this distance.
Well, you know what doesn't require a ranged attack? This old favorite.
Sight is only the prerequisite. It will...
Eat shit and die.
Dex save.
Yeah.
Success. You can see it. Oh no, it has disadvantage
Yeah,
on
it's
dex
still slowed.
saves because it's slowed, right?
Eat shit and die!
And Hex. Or no,
Hex
Hex
is
doesn't
gone.
affect saving throws.
It's also
Oh,
gone, yeah. Okay, so it'll take 9. So
Nice.
close.
die.
So close.
Eat shit.
Cassia done
Well,
will land us up. Direct the strike requires hearing, does it not?
let me post that. Hold on.
God, I hope I put that into it. If not, I'm gonna have to retcon it.
I think it's
That can see or hear you.
could be either or.
Ooh, that's good. Because you can hand signal
It's
it.
not disadvantage. It's only -2. If that makes a difference.
Oh, it does actually. Thank you for the honesty. So I'll get that 9 back.
God damn it, Joe! You've
I'm
ruined
sorry.
my life!
I read it. I do reading.
Right there.
25 feet. Yeah, you need to really be right on the shore to be able to do it. And yeah, it says that can't see you.
Is this close enough?
He's on top, so he's 15 feet up, so he's not dealing with the same buffer of sight. I'm gonna have him make a just to keep it completely 100. I'm gonna have him make a perception check to see if
Okay.
he can see it. He does not see you.
Sorry.
God damn it, sir!
But I will say that you did try to direct him, and he just wasn't able to make out what you're trying to relay hand signal wise, and didn't know what to do. Let's say
Fuck.
we're close here. We're close.
Would have been closer if Joe hadn't spoiled it.
Thank you, Joe, for being an honest boy.
Those damn blaze hatchets in their honor.
And it's still below the water, yeah.
20 feet under, yeah.
Cool. I'm going to stay put and
Ready.
ready my longbow.
Glint.
Glint drops his hand crossbows. He's going to leap into the water. He's
Okay.
going to use his action to dash as he swims down to the dragon. I'm going to action surge, pull out my short sword, and stab it.
Okay, make your attack.
And my intent is that if I successfully stab it, that's like my handhold on it.
Action would need to be a grapple, or action would need to be to mount. So you can say that's your intent. We'll see how the roll goes, though. Go ahead and make the attack.
Well, maybe.
Well, hold on 1 second. Let me just check out the.
Just for the attack.
You got this.
Uses its action. Okay. All right. Yeah, I will be able to get within range to
Yeah,
attack.
I believe you. Yeah.
So we're gonna go with.
It's
Sure.
20 feet down. You just need to move 15 feet. Swim speed of...
That's a 20.
Okay, yeah, that'll hit. Damage.
Cool. So there's damage. I'm gonna re-roll that damage, and I'm gonna do a psionic strike.
How many
So,
psionic points do you have left?
2,
How did you start with?
4,
Yeah, you recharge one.
and
okay.
I use psionic recovery to get 1 back.
Yeah, that's
fine.
why you're now at 1 instead of... Yeah,
Right.
Got
And
it, got
certain
it.
abilities don't require a psionic dice to use.
Don't need the
They
lesson.
use
We're
dice to use.
sorry, we're on time. So go ahead and give me the damage.
So that's going to be 10 plus 1d6 plus 2 force, which is 6. So
Alright.
that's going to be 16 total.
We're in single digits.
Hey,
All right, it goes to the dragon. Somebody roll a d6.
I'll do it.
God
Damn.
it!
God damn it, Jonah!
With Jonah!
Well,
You had one job!
Sarth has been on me for a while and has not wounded me, so I'm going to breathe. Go ahead and show me where you would have swam down to it, Glenn.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Clint definitely would have tried to be, like, in the position
Just
where...
put yourself on the
absolutely
square. I just need you to move your token.
like, right on the back of its neck.
Okay, so then it's just going to be you that gets the shot then. It's going to shoot straight up into you. All of you will see kind of like a geyser of acid shooting up. Glint, go ahead and make a dex saving throw.
Do I have an advantage?
You have disadvantage because you don't have a swim speed.
So that's 16.
Success. You will be taking half of 48, so 24.
Okay. So I will be taking 24. I'm also going to use my reaction to reduce that with my last psionic energy dice
Okay.
by 4. So
So
I will
20.
take 20.
All right. It will.
I'm at 8 hit points, guys.
It will
Single digits.
continue to move. You do not have a reaction to attack it. Sarth does.
Go Sarth!
He can't, or he's still holding on to it too. So he actually no, he does not get to react against it. He's not leaving its space. It's taking him with it. So they descend 20 feet down, and then wisdom save 15
Fail.
on the nose. Finally. All right.
No.
Nice.
Astrogoth will
We did.
continue to hide. Just so we understand it, it is 40 feet under the water. Glint is 15 feet under the water, and Sarth is still attached to it. All right, so Astrogoth is doing nothing. Balgar, you're up.
I shatter.
Okay. Boom.
Shut it.
Throw the damage. And I will decide if I'm going to need to make a con saving throw at all. I do need to make a con saving throw. All
Just
right.
don't. Just don't.
I have to. Okay, so I succeed, and in the tradition of this is hilarious, you chat it.
How's Sarth doing? Is he okay?
Sarth is going to make his save against the effect.
Oh, no.
Let's see. He's pretty good at con. He's not too bad. He's going to take half, so that means he's still alive. He probably would have lived without passing either. So he's
All right. I feel good about this.
all he is hit points, as you may have noticed.
That's good though.
Okay, the spy is just going to hang loose. Sarth is going to try.
Maybe.
Buddy.
No.
It doesn't
Wait,
matter. He
What
has
was it that happened on Monday, Jonah? Somebody chatted like 3.
I did. That was me.
he misses. He's
Yeah.
just gonna miss.
He chatted 3 characters while I was running the game, and I was like,
Cassia.
feels good.
How far down? Am I still within 60 to Sacred Flame it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do that yet again.
You got this.
What's this big blue aura here?
The temp HP aura that Cassia gets.
Ooh, juicy. Should have gotten some temp HP.
Okay, so the bolt flies through, and everyone sees kind of like a flash of Sarth hitting it against the head. And for the shadow effect, it looks like the combination of the radiant strike and Sarth's axe blow caused the creature to just seize up suddenly and kind of lock in place, then start kind of death rolling, kind of thrashing about. In these last moments of this kind of flash of sight, you then kind of see bubbles start rising up through the silt. And after a fashion, eventually, the frame of Sarth pops up, panicked, swimming towards the shore, kind of grabbing a hold of the ledge, and like, oh, it's so weird down there. And that is where we'll end the game for tonight. We will pick up next session with the aftermath. I will also be noting a very large list of things in the general at some point later this weekend, probably not tomorrow, but maybe Sunday, regarding the listing of what is available here and in the Dragon Horde. That's it. Thanks for watching those that did, and we'll see you next week.